KSL's top story this hour, a South Carolina woman has admitted to a multi-year ski pass fraud scheme. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera explains.
Prosecutors say Jamila Green used stolen credit card information to buy Icon Pass lift tickets and day passes, then resold them online at heavy discounts. Investigators told KSL.com the fraud went unnoticed until resorts began seeing unusual waves of chargebacks and canceled passes, costing them tens of thousands. Green has now pleaded guilty to wire fraud charges and faces up to 20 years in federal prison.
Her sentencing is scheduled for early next year. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. We're waiting for clarification from the White House on what the U.S. is going to do with the massive oil tanker seized off the coast of Venezuela.
We're talking about a source of revenue for the Venezuelan government, and specifically for the regime of Nicolás Maduro, to the tune of billions of dollars every single year. And for an economy that is already staggering, that has been hit and hit over and over again over the past couple of decades, they cannot afford, quite literally, to not have this oil revenue coming in from these oil exports.
ABC's Matt Rivers reports President Donald Trump says maybe they'll keep the oil, but no definite plans were announced. Your money at this moment, the Dow is up 456 points, the S&P 500 is down 21 points, and the NASDAQ is down 226 points. Coming up, the warmest day of the week. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 9:01.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
From holiday hosting to unforgettable gifts, Omaha Steaks delivers the world's best steak experience. And now, during their Sizzle All the Way sale, you can get 50% off site-wide at omahasteaks.com. Plus, our listeners get an extra $35 off with promo code SKY at checkout. I was lucky enough to receive Omaha Steaks as a gift, and it was everything I had hoped for. Items were individually packaged so I could cook for the entire family. Or if I was the only one home, I would treat myself with a delicious steak, sides, and even dessert. I loved those nights by myself. Right now is the perfect time to save on delicious gifts and holiday hosting favorites. Every steak is perfectly aged to maximize tenderness and hand-cut by master butchers in America's heartland. It's holiday magic made easy. Save big on gourmet gifts and more holiday favorites with Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com for 50% off site-wide during their Sizzle All the Way sale. And for an extra $35 off, use promo code SKY at checkout. Terms apply. See site for details. That's omahasteaks.com, code SKY.
This holiday season, give the gift of love that lasts a lifetime with Duke's Jewelers. For over 75 years, the Dukes family has been part of Utah Valley's story, helping yours celebrate life's most cherished moments since 1948. Dukes is more than a jewelry store. They're craftsmen, creating timeless pieces and custom designs that capture the magic of the holidays. Whether it's a sparkling necklace, a custom ring, or restoring a family heirloom, Duke's Jewelers pours their heart into every gift. Because jewelry isn't just about sparkle, it's about love and legacy. This Christmas, make your loved one feel like part of the Dukes family. Find the perfect gift at Duke's Jewelers, located at 220 South Main in Springville, or shop online at dukesjewelers.com. Duke's Jewelers, celebrating love and tradition since 1948.
My friend Joey loves to use old familiar sayings.
You know what they say.
The problem is,
don't look at a gift horse, cause you can't make them drink.
He gets a lot of them mixed up.
People who live in glass houses,
here it comes,
shouldn't cry over spilt milk.
There are also a lot of sayings in the financial world, like, you'll pay lower taxes in retirement. But for many people, it's just not true. You may have done a great job saving in that 401k or IRA, but Uncle Sam is ready to grab a big portion of that money. The team at Galileo Wealth Management can help with strategies that you can start now to lower your tax bill in the future. More for you and less for Uncle Sam.
Or as they say, an apple a day is worth two in the bush.
Get the facts on your tax bill in retirement. Call Galileo Wealth today at 385-247-7000. It's 385-247-7000 or online at GalileoWealth.com.
And remember, a stitch in time keeps the doctor away. It does, you know.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Here's Jason Jones in the KSL Traffic Center.
And I was watching these cameras, and I was like, "Wow, the traffic just thinned out so much, so much over like the last 5 minutes as you're coming off the point of the mountain." Yeah, well, the reason is because now further up the point of the mountain, we actually have an accident. It is blocking the two left lanes at about 152 south. The HOV lane and the left lane, I guess I should say, are blocked, so you're going to stick over to the right. But delays are already starting to stretch around the point of the mountain now, and so that should be a little bit of a problem if you're trying to make your way into the Salt Lake Valley. Speaking of Utah County, if you're on 2100 North, it is very heavy headed eastbound trying to get over to I-15, so that's going to take you some extra time there. And we're still seeing the slowdowns northbound on Mountain View Corridor. It's right between 4700 South and 4100 South at this point. Cars for Kids reminds you time is running out to donate your car for 2025. Call 877-CARS-FOR-KIDS now to secure your 2025 tax deduction and vacation voucher. That's CARS with a K. I'm Jason Jones in the KSL Traffic Center.
Today, the high is up in the 60s and the low is in the 40s with a 0% chance of rain. Right now, it's partly cloudy and 45 degrees. I'm Isabella Sosa from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
Well, the stakes are high today. The credits that we lost are about to lose. I am going to start.
Let's start over.
Good morning. Welcome to
Good
Inside
morning.
Sources. You know, when we were dealing with the government shutdown, one of the hang-ups, in fact, the major hang-up was what would happen with these healthcare cost credits that were set to expire in December.
Yep.
Well,
We're in
December's
December.
here, and they still haven't done anything about it. I think the Democrats felt like, hey, if we allow the government to open, can we address this? The Republicans didn't agree to that. There was no quid pro quo by any means. But they are about to expire, and it doesn't seem, Holly, as though something's going to happen between now and whenever. It looks like they may very well expire.
Yeah, and this is for people who purchase health care through the marketplace. It's the ACA. Some people call it Obamacare, but it's there are a lot of people who get their health insurance this way, and we know that if these pandemic-era credits expire, that the cost is going to skyrocket.
Here's a breakdown from the ABC Start Here podcast this morning.
On Capitol Hill today, you're going to see the Senate take two dueling votes on health care plans.
The only realistic path left is what Democrats are proposing, a clean, direct extension of current tax credits.
The first plan, it's put forward by Democrats, and from an explanation standpoint, is fairly simple. Democrats are saying, hey, these enhanced tax credits are expiring. We think that's bad. We'd like to extend them for 3 more years.
Same prices, same terms, like just do that again.
Exactly.
I implore my Republican colleagues, we need just 13 of you to push this bill over the finish line.
Republicans do not like this plan.
This is nothing more than a failed program, partly because it is a failed structure with no incentives to reduce costs.
They've been pointing to some recent data from the Nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office, which shows that the Democratic plan expanding this for 3 years would cost taxpayers $83 billion. And Republicans say does relatively little to actually lower the cost of premiums over time.
So these subsidies went into place, if I recall, during COVID. They were not part of the original Obamacare.
That's right.
They were set to sunset right now. I mean, that when they
right,
were
that's
enacted,
why they're expiring. Yeah,
right, they were set to expire. Democrats have said, well, they've worked. Let's keep them in place. Republicans have said, no, this was a stopgap measure. There was something happening at the time that made it more important, and they let them expire. That was never It was never intended to be an ongoing thing. I was looking though to see if the Republicans proposed something of their own, and they did. It's a little bit. It was a bill it was proposed by Senator Bill Cassidy of Louisiana and Mike Crapo of Idaho that would give individuals $1,500 if they earn less than 700% of the poverty level, about $110,000, and then more for families of 4. So they do have a alternative proposal, although it's much less in terms of benefit for the recipient than the Democrat plan.
And super expensive. So there we do have some information about what they want about.
And so Republicans will offer up something as an alternative.
Republicans are going to answer that with a vote on a bill of their own.
Creating health savings accounts where money flows into the health savings account that individuals control rather than having it controlled by the insurance companies.
What this legislation essentially does is repeal those tax credits and instead take the money that was being used to subsidize those enhanced tax credits and put it into health savings accounts for individuals who are purchasing their health care through Obamacare.
Okay, so like we're spending a ton of money on this. Let's just give that money to people and they can buy whatever health insurance or health services they need with that money.
Exactly. That's exactly what it does. So the idea being you may pick a plan that has a lower cost because it has a higher deductible, but you'd have this health savings account to help you pay for some of the money in that deductible. So it'd be easier to meet.
Now, you still get your insurance in the marketplace, but now you would have more dollars at your discretion.
This is what Republicans say they want to do because they argue that it would actually have the effect of lowering premiums over time.
It's a you're on your own bill.
Similar to the Democratic plan, this plan also going nowhere in the Senate.
How is a one-time check going to help you if you're paying $1,000 or $2,000 a month more for health insurance?
Minority Leader Schumer saying the amount of money that would be put in these HSAs is nothing compared to the skyrocketing cost of health care that people who depend on these plans are going to see if these enhanced premiums expire.
What we need to do is prevent premiums from skyrocketing, and only our bill does it. It is the last train out of the station.
I do think, Holly, that the Republicans had an obligation to propose something, and they couldn't just sit back and say, hey, we're going to let it expire. So to their credits, they did. To their credit. It's not much, I guess, but it's something.
Sure, but by obligation, you mean public polling was killing them.
Right, yes. It's a moral obligation, political obligation.
Look, so you heard it in that little sound clip. These bills are expected to go nowhere. And by that, they need to get 60, right? They need to get 60 votes to be able to move forward for an ongoing discussion. What's interesting is on the House side, they're trying to force a discussion over there as well by doing this discharge petition again. And Marjorie Taylor Greene, one of the ones signed on again, saying we want to have this, we want to take this to a vote. And remember, she's one of the ways she got crossways with the GOP is because she started saying, look, my adult kids, their premiums are going to quadruple. They cannot afford that. They cannot afford that, right? And we've talked before, I think, on the show. I have a friend in my neighborhood, and they have a couple of kids with some special needs. They pay on the marketplace $40,000 a year for premiums, and they can't afford to pay more when these subsidies go away.
How can you live with something like that? The reason why it's in trouble in the Senate, you stated this, is that it's one of those that requires 60 votes.
Right.
And the majority Republicans 53 to 47, so
right.
Neither side's got the 60.
No,
I don't know that the Republicans are going to get 7 Democrats, and I don't believe the Democrats are going to get 13 Republicans.
I think that's correct, and I think that's what people expect, right? Is that this is they're going to go through the motions today, but that neither proposal will pass, and they're at loggerheads again. And so what that means is if nothing passes, then these credits do expire at the end of December.
And then you get the worst of all worlds, because even the Republican plan's better than nothing. I mean, but I don't know. But the Democrats probably can't just live with that. So it'll be interesting. When does it expire? At the end of the month or close to the end of the month?
I think it's the 31st. I think it's
what
exactly the end of the month. So, we'll see how that goes. I don't know. Today's not going to be the last day, of course, right? So they're gonna vote on it. I suspect they'll vote down both of them, and then they'll go back to discussions. But what's interesting to me is it doesn't seem like anybody's willing to budge on either side.
Yeah,
right?
And they hadn't
dug in
during the entire shutdown.
Yeah. So. All right. So cameras or no cameras, shackles or street clothes. The debate on what is allowed for Tyler Robinson, the man accused of killing Charlie Kirk, in court will get underway today as he makes his first in-person court appearance. So I'm going to talk to you about those decisions about clothes and cameras, and I'm really glad that we have you as a legal expert in this room. Stay with us.
Well, the holidays are really here. Things are speeding up. I know exactly what we all need to do, and that's head into the Western Nut Company. I'm here with Sarah, and you can take care of it all.
We love the holidays, and we try to make it seamless for our customers to enjoy our gift baskets and our fudge and our brittle and all the things that make it the holidays.
Western Nut is perfect for corporate giving and also for your family and your friends and your neighbors.
For corporate gifting, we have a team that's ready to take your list and ship it right from our store.
You know what I love is Dee and I go into Western Nut and the Mothership, which is right there on 4th and 3rd West, and we just let you guys take care of it all. We select the gift and you guys ship them off, especially to Dee's family in Missouri.
Western Nut's been doing this since 1966, and we've got it down. All the things that you need to cover everybody on your list.
A good place to start is by going online at westernnut.com. That's westernut.com.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 30% upfront bonus? Or are they promising you up to 10% growth per year, all for your retirement income? If not, then you need to come to Trajan Wealth. I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. If you have a plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hardworking folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They're not. That's up to $30,000 upfront or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't keep working when you're supposed to be retired, and don't let any financial advisor tell you it's too good to be true. Call Trajan today, 801-207-9900. That's 801-207-9900.
Annuities, non-advisory products. DBA Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions. Additional disclosures at trajanwealth.com.
If you're getting new gutters, make absolutely sure that you don't get screwed. I mean literally, don't get screwed. Tim Jr. here from RGS Exteriors. And every single gutter company out there uses screws to hold their gutters together at the corners and downspouts. They use screws because they're fast and cheap and easy. But man, they're terrible for your gutters, aside from possibly cutting your hand. They also loosen and corrode over time because they're not made from the same metal as the gutters. At RGS Exteriors, we've been installing gutters for 70 years now, and we don't use screws. We only use permanent, strong, and unobtrusive rivets. They're made from the same material as the gutters, so they won't oxidize and they won't corrode. They'll also never loosen. Your hand is safe too. Did I mention they look amazing? So don't get screwed. Call RGS and get riveted gutters. Our number is 801-280-3110 or visit us at rgsutah.com. That's 801-280-3110 or rgsutah.com.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code BOOST25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code BOOST25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code BOOST25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Matthew.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. I just need you to listen to me.
I know that a lot of times, Mom, it might not seem like I'm listening to you, but I am. I hear you. And what you say really does matter to me.
I mean, let's be honest. No kid likes rules, but I get why we have them. I hear you, and I know it's because you care.
All the talks we've had over the years, including what you've told me about not using alcohol and other drugs, they stick with me. And believe it or not, they really do make a difference, especially at times that matter most.
Hey, want a drink?
No thanks, I'm good. So thank you, Dad, for talking and preparing me for what's ahead.
Thanks, Mom, for never giving up and always being my biggest fan.
Thank you for letting me know what you expect, so I can try to meet your expectations.
Thank you for talking.
For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
From a recovery program to a place to lay your head at night with breakfast, lunch, and dinner served every day. That's Rescue Mission of Salt Lake. You can help. Visit rescuesaltlake.org.
And expanded Inside Sources.
There's a court hearing today in Utah County in Provo at noon involving the case of the state of Utah versus Tyler James Robinson. And of course, Robinson is alleged to have killed Charlie Kirk in September at Utah Valley University. He has not appeared in person at any of his court hearings, Holly, but I believe he will today. There have been a number of motions filed that don't necessarily relate to guilt or innocence or getting this to trial or a preliminary hearing, but more about sort of procedural things.
Right.
Can he show up in court in street clothes? Can he show up in court in person? And if he does show up in court in person, what will he wear and what level of restraint will he have?
Mm-hmm. You've talked to me before about the clothing issue, and you said at least by the time you get to trial, you expect people to be able to show up in street clothes, usually dressed nicely, right? And it's, let me see if I can remember the right way to say it. It's so you don't prejudice the jury by seeing somebody show up in a prison jumpsuit and shackled, correct?
Right. So yes, when you actually get to the trial, you're in front of the jury, or even while you're selecting a jury, you would expect an accused to wear street clothes, whatever they feel like they're appropriate in, because the jury will see them sitting next to counsel, and obviously if they're wearing a jail jumpsuit, it makes them look more guilty. So yes, virtually every court will allow a criminal defendant in court to appear in street clothes. We in fact take them over to the jail and dress them out before court.
So this is different because this isn't the trial.
Exactly. We don't typically allow inmates, accused individuals, to show up in street clothes for hearings, to schedule hearings. And this hearing today is really just to argue motions and whatnot. There's not going to be a jury there. There's not going to be anyone there that present that would be on the jury necessarily. But you would expect that somebody maybe watching on TV may end up on the jury someday. And I think that's the defense position here is, well, we do have our jury watching. They just don't know it yet. They don't know that they're going to be on the jury. It's rare, and it doesn't happen very often. But these same attorneys have done it in Park City on the Corey Richins case. When she shows up in court, if you recall, she's the one that's accused to have killed her husband. That case is set for trial, and obviously she's presumed innocent. But that case is coming up, and when she appears in court, she always wears street clothes. And I think it's something that her attorneys have done very effectively, and they're trying to do, and so far have been allowed to do the same thing on Tyler Robinson.
So why is he in court today, and do we know if he'll be in street clothes?
My guess is he will be in street clothes. There's some motions pending, and this one's kind of, it almost looks like what happened and what we're hearing today is a motion filed by the media. So what happened? Yeah, what happened is this. There was a hearing that the judge held on October 24th, and it was what they call a closed hearing. In other words, the media wasn't invited. But the media didn't contest that. They didn't complain. They didn't file a motion. And so part of the concern here is, did they waive their right to be there? But it was a closed hearing, and it was a hearing to receive evidence. The court actually received evidence regarding the need for physical restraints. In other words, they probably heard from, it's sealed, so I don't know, I wasn't there. They probably heard from the sheriff's office or the jailers to say, we think he should have this level of restraint. We think he should have this level of security. And, of course, the defense attorneys are saying he should walk in like everybody else. He doesn't need to be cuffed. And so that hearing was on the 24th. It was sealed. The media didn't go to it. And so they've said, we want to know what happened to that hearing. We want you to unseal what happened to that hearing, and so we can see what the argument was. But it was sealed for a reason.
Sure. So why would he have to appear if this is something that the media wants to know? What was your decision on whether he wears clothes? Why does he have to be there then?
He doesn't, but he has the right to be there. Okay. So and he can waive, as he has previously, his physical appearance at court hearings. He has now said, I want to start going to my own court hearings, but I want to make sure two things occur. When I go, I want to be wearing my street clothes, and I don't want any shackles on me. And I think today the judge will let us know how that's going to go moving forward, and whether the media is going to be allowed to find out why the sheriff's office is so concerned about physical restraints.
So let's talk about cameras. What is normal in a courtroom? Are cameras normal or no cameras normal?
Boy, that's a hard one too. That's one of those case-by-case issues where judges have to look and say, are we going to taint our jury pool? Are we going to do something that might cause a problem? Usually in this day and age, Holly, cameras are pretty much wide open in the courtrooms. And what judges will often do is they'll have a pool camera. So they don't have 8 cameras like you might at a press conference.
Right.
They'll have one camera. All the media shares it, and maybe one still photographer, that type of thing. But yeah, I mean, we usually try to make court hearings open these days because it's so easy to do that. And besides that, courts are open to the public. I mean, if you can go watch the hearing, why couldn't you go watch it on TV? You don't have to be physically in the courtroom. They can't close it off unless it's a juvenile proceeding or certain other proceedings, but otherwise they're open to the public. So
let me ask you this question. So you said pool camera, meaning like a media pool. So you're saying that the courtrooms themselves, they don't do live streaming of their court proceedings. It's only if media brings a camera.
Correct. Courts record their proceedings, but most of those are simply audio. It's not often that courts will have a video proceeding. Now they have these cameras that are set up that they use periodically, but most of the time when you go to it, you want to go find out what happened in court, you go buy the audio tape of it. So they don't live stream anything in court. Now, having said that, since COVID, we all go to court
virtually,
remotely, right? So there's sort of live stream that way. When I go to court, half the time I go to court, it's on Zoom or WebEx. In that respect, it is, but it's a closed live stream. It's you have to enter and say, hey, I'm Greg Skordas. I've got court today, and they'll decide to let you in or not.
Yeah. So I know that Erica Kirk, who's Charlie Kirk's widow, she had some thoughts on cameras in the courtroom. She shared with an interview with Fox News.
The defense wants to ban cameras in the courtroom. How do you feel about that?
There were cameras all over my husband when he was murdered. There have been cameras all over my friends and family mourning. There have been cameras all over me, analyzing my every move, analyzing my every smile, my every tear. We deserve to have cameras in there. Why not be transparent? There's nothing to hide. I know there's not, because I've seen what the case is built on. Let everyone see what true evil is. This is something that could impact a generation and generations to come.
So I understand exactly what she's saying, but here's the problem that could be created. And I'm not saying it is. I don't know. I mean, I think the judge so far is going to let cameras in the courtroom. But if you get to trial, let's say there's a trial a year from today, December 11th, 2026, it's ready to go. Right. You get your jury pool there, you're starting to interview them, and they all say, I've been watching it on TV. I know too much about the case because I've been watching it. Right. That's the problem that you have. You really, and the prosecution has every reason to make sure that this trial is secure and that the jury is not tainted. And the judge wants to make sure of that. So the more publicity you give, the more cameras you make available, the more information that's out there for your prospective jurors, the harder it's going to be to find real jurors who can hear your case, who are not previously biased by something they saw on TV.
So then could the judge say, we're not going to have cameras until we hit the jury selection stage or the trial?
He could. My guess is he'll open the doors completely. And just like Charlie Kirk's widow, Erica Kirk, said, probably just let it go. Because in some respects, she makes a good point. Everyone's been seeing it anyway. It's not like we're going to learn something or make something.
Well, it's interesting because when I heard her say that, she I think does not buy into some of the conspiracy theories about Charlie Kirk's death. We do have a couple of texters. One says they don't believe that he should be allowed to wear street clothes. He needs to be in a bright orange jumpsuit, head to toe shackles, and have it be national news.
That sort of flips the presumption of innocence. That's all I'm saying.
It does.
I can understand. I've argued it both ways.
Yeah. And then another texter just says cameras in public are different from a courtroom, right? I mean, people holding with their cell phone, right? That was, I understand what they're saying as well. So, it'll be interesting. So how long do you expect that this hearing today will last? Do you have any idea?
The fact that it's set at noon tells me it's a special hearing because normally courts will go at 9 o'clock and 1 o'clock.
Okay,
and they'll
so
have
they
their
have to
whole
fit it in.
calendar. This is a one-off. This is the only hearing. I haven't answered your question yet, but I doubt it'll be still going at 1 o'clock. It's probably half an hour, 45-minute hearing.
Okay, well, we'll follow that. Look, so we're speaking about people who are alleged to have killed other people. The family of killed police officer Sergeant Bill Hoosers, they've filed a lawsuit against the man accused of killing him and also against his employer, which is interesting. We're going to break that down next.
Good morning. It's 9:29 at KSL News Radio. I'm Isabella Sosa. KSL's top story this hour. If you're buying an e-bike or e-scooter for your kids this Christmas, there are some things you might want to consider. KSL News Radio's Cameron Elliott has more.
Helmets, pads, and good advice can only take kids so far, especially when they may be cruising up to 28 miles per hour on their electric transportation. Injury attorney Lem Garcia says that most kids will throw caution to the wind once they're out of their parents' sight, and this recklessness combined with unaware drivers can be a deadly mix.
Drivers aren't used to looking out for them, especially with how fast they're going, and it contributes to a lot of accidents. And when you get in an accident on an e-scooter or an e-bike, injuries can be serious.
Garcia says parents who want to keep their kids safe around e-bikes should just keep them off e-bikes. Cameron Elliott, KSL News Radio.
Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Venezuelan opposition leader and Nobel Peace Prize winner Maria Corina Machado spoke out in Norway this morning, reacting to news the U.S. seized an oil tanker. She says more needs to be done to cut off the sources of money that support the Maduro regime.
We ask the international community to cut those sources because the other regimes that support Maduro and the criminal structure are very active and had turned Venezuela into the safe haven for their operations.
Machado is living in Norway after escaping from her home country. Your money at this moment, the Dow is up 476 points, the S&P 500 is down 25 points, and the Nasdaq is down 257 points. Coming up, 60 degrees in December. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 9:31.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Mountain America Expo Center. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Mountain America Expo Center. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Mountain America Expo Center. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. Mountain America Expo Center. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Hot tub starting at $2,999. Mountain America Expo Center. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Mountain America Expo Center. Friday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission, free parking, free delivery. Mountain America Expo Center. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
Makita knows that pros never settle, and neither do we. With Makita, you get tools that perform at the highest level on every job without compromise. Makita is for the most detailed pros, expertly engineered to deliver precision, job after job. When your work calls for the best, call on Makita. Makita, built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Let's check traffic in the KSL Traffic Center.
And yeah, we have this accident. It is coming off the point of the mountain at 152 South. 2 left lanes are blocked there. Many emergency vehicles on scene, including a fire engine, an ambulance, all kinds of stuff. Anyway, the delays are going to stretch around the point of the mountain to Timpanogos Highway, it looks like. In Lehigh is where those delays are going to start. So very heavy and slow around the point of the mountain. Now, the good news is that everything after that has completely cleared out. So if you're still northbound I-15 through the Salt Lake Valley, it's going to be a straight shot to the rest of the way into downtown Salt Lake City. Likewise, no problems coming out of Weber and Davis counties. I-15 is rolling smoothly there with no accidents. And the delays we had over on Mountain View Corridor, those have cleared out as well. Performance Automotive in Bountiful, endless possibilities with 3 locations: Performance Ford, Lincoln, Performance Honda, and Performance Toyota, where excellence is standard. Start your search at performancebountiful.com. I'm Jason Jones in the KSL Traffic Center.
Today's high is 60 degrees, which is nearing record levels in the Wasatch Front. It'll cool down to the 50s for the rest of the week. Right now, it's partly cloudy and 45 degrees. I'm Isabella Sosa from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Over the years, you've brought them into your home. You were prescribed opioids after the C-section and after Dad's back injury. They helped when you were in pain, and you held on to them just in case. But did you know holding on to unused opioids puts your family at risk? Trouble with opioids can start at home with unused medicines such as pills, patches, and syrups. You can remove the risk and protect your family. Find out how at www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
We were just speaking a minute ago about the hearing coming up on Tyler Robinson, who was accused of shooting Charlie Kirk at UVU. I think it was on September 10th. But a year earlier, we had a very really awful homicide that also occurred in Utah County, and it involved a police officer, Billy Hooser, who was working with the Santaquin Police Department. He was working at the time. He pulled over an individual, and of course, I'm just reading from the probable cause statement. This man is presumed innocent at this point, named Michael Jane, and the rest just went. I mean, it went awful from there.
Right.
But Jane is accused of capital homicide. It's a death penalty case in Utah County, and the criminal part of that case is going forward, even though it occurred in May of 2024. So it's been quite a while. There's not even a trial set. That case has really languished, and without getting into too much, it's because he fires his lawyers and he brings lawyers back. He's got a public defender, and he's had problems with those. Plus, it's a death penalty case, and so his current attorneys want to make sure they do everything right.
So can I think remind myself and maybe our listeners, he's accused of deliberately running into Sergeant Hooser with a semi.
Right, and killing him.
Exactly,
him. Right. And then there was this chase. He stole a truck, I think,
like a pickup
truck, drove, and they finally stopped him in Uinta County, Vernal almost. He'd driven quite a ways.
Okay.
But he was driving a semi truck at the time, and he was working for a company that had hired him to drive the truck, and he was delivering the truck to another company that had a contract for the delivery of food.
Mm-hmm.
The importance of those two companies are they've now been sued by Hooser's estate because they're claiming that this was done in the course of his employment. So Jane is working for an employer. He's driving a truck for a company. He commits this crime, and they're saying that the company should also have some level of liability, and even the company that was contracting with the trucking company that he was delivering the food for should have some level of responsibility. This is an interesting civil case.
I don't understand that.
Right.
I understand. I mean, I understand suing him, right?
And they did.
And they do have a lawsuit against him, but I don't understand the legal theory, and I'm not an attorney, which is why you're here, behind suing the employer.
Right. So it is an interesting theory, but you can be responsible as an employer if your employee does something wrong. Let's say Bill, it doesn't even matter. You're a truck driver and you're a drunk driver and you crash into somebody. Should the company be responsible? The issue comes around, was the conduct sort of part of the employment? If it's really what you're supposed to be doing, you're driving your truck from point A to point B, you fall asleep at the wheel, you do something wrong, you get in a wreck, that's part of you're working in the course of your employment. But your employment wouldn't include chasing a police officer, trying to kill a police officer.
Right.
And
I
so
understand
I
that.
think that would be the defense. That's where these companies would say, wait a minute, we're not responsible for the criminal conduct of our employee, but they are responsible for the tort, the civil, the negligence part of what their employee did. This lawsuit is, in my opinion, a little bit of a stretch, but it's an interesting lawsuit.
So they're suing the trucking company, but they're also suing the food company, the one that was going to have food inside of the truck, which also seems like that.
That's it.
That seems weird
that's
to me.
An even further stretch. I mean, I'm not saying this is not good, but they were contracting on behalf of this food company to deliver the food in this truck, and so they're saying, well, he was working for two people. One is a trucking company and one is the food company. He was there. They are his masters. They're responsible for his conduct, and that's what this lawsuit's about.
I'm not even responsible for my kids' conduct once they're adults, right?
That's true. That's true. Unless you give your kids the car and you know that they're
knowing that they're
impaired
drunk or
and
something.
say, hey, go run this store. Right.
Yeah. Well, that is interesting to me. So this is just barely been filed. What are they asking for in this lawsuit? Is it one lawsuit or is it three?
It's one lawsuit against three individuals. And by the way, they did sue Michael Jane personally. And you stated that at the beginning. They sort of had to. I mean, he's in jail. Right. He may end up going to prison. He no matter where he ends up, he probably doesn't have much money. But they had to sue him, and then they sue his employers at the time. They're not asking for an exact number. They're saying that it's over $300,000 because that puts them at a certain tier when you go to court. You look at what the value of the case is. So they're saying this is worth a lot of money, and there's a lot of damages here. And by the way, the loss of a life for somebody like Sergeant Bill Hooser you can't put a number on it.
Right.
I mean, it could be in the millions of dollars. It could be a huge number. But the question becomes, who's responsible for that? Who has to pay that? Michael Jane, if he's found guilty of the crime, absolutely. Will he ever? Probably not. He'll probably never have income. But are his employers? And another thing they'll be looking at here, Holly, is what did these employers know about him? If you hired somebody who's got a criminal record or a DUI, or they've come to work drunk a few times, or you've had to do things, and I'm not saying they did, but if they have reason to believe that they've got a loose cannon working for them who could potentially go off and do something like this, and they do nothing about it. So I think this lawsuit's going to dig really deep into what the company and the contractor knew or should have known when they put this man behind the wheel of a truck.
I am looking at a KSL.com article that says that police have said that Jane has an extensive criminal history with violent offenses over the last 20 plus years, including convictions of assaulting and threatening police, resisting arrest, felony evading domestic violence. He was on federal probation at the time of Hooser's killing. So I can understand, I guess I understand a little better about why they're saying, look, employer, you should have known this. Right, that he's potentially a danger to the public. So you said this is a civil suit, not a criminal. So there's a criminal thing that's ongoing. That's one thing. And then this is the civil case.
Right.
Let me ask you, is this like O.J. Simpson?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so he had two going on, but he ended up going to jail for the civil one. Is that right?
Well, no. He was acquitted. You can't go to jail for a civil case.
Okay. So he
went
didn't
to jail for
something else.
Case. The civil case is about three things: money, and money. That's all you can get in a civil case like this. The criminal case is to decide punishment. How many years does he spend in prison if he's guilty?
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, I appreciate you breaking that down. So this is just barely at the beginning. How long does something like this take to play out? A long time?
Years. A civil suit on something like this could go a long time. And I'm a little surprised they filed it. Maybe there's a statute of limitations or something, because typically when there's a criminal case, the civil lawyers might sit back and say, okay, we'll see how this shakes out. And if he's found guilty, our case just got a whole lot easier.
Right.
And so they might wait and let the criminal case work itself out. But they may have felt, and I don't know, it's only been 2 years, not even 2 years, but they may have felt that they had to file within a certain period of time. I know there's a prosecutor when I prosecuted cases, and then the victim's family filed a civil suit, it was rarely good news.
Mhm.
You don't. It sort of taints the whole case when you're doing the criminal prosecution and you realize that your victims want money too.
Oh.
I just would discourage people and say, look, wait till we win this case, and then it goes. And even when victims come to me and want to sue, I tell them the same thing. Let's let the criminal case run itself out. I'm not saying they did the wrong thing. These look like very competent lawyers, and it's a well-drafted lawsuit. I'm just saying parts of it don't make a lot of sense to me.
Interesting.
When we come back, a Utah immigration attorney now says he may sue the Department of Homeland Security for libel. This comes after someone tweeted on the department's official account as information about a Utah immigrant, and there is a lot more to this story when we come back.
A whole lot more.
I'm Jordan Wilcox, your Utah tax attorney. When life gets overwhelming, some things tend to fall by the side.
I'm Carlos Sanchez from Draper, Utah. I was managing a business, helping out a business, doing paperwork and getting paid, and my wife got sick. We filed taxes, but then we got audited. And when I went and talked to the IRS, they didn't give me any choice. The IRS pretty much said, this is what you owe us, when are you gonna pay us? And we're talking quite a bit. But every time I drive, I listen to the radio. Jordan Wilcox, Jordan Wilcox. So I figure there's a reason this guy's on the radio. So I called him.
Put an end to IRS collection and aggression today.
The amount that the IRS came up with, close to $250,000, and the offer and compromise was about $7,600. That's it.
This is Utah tax attorney Jordan Wilcox. Let's solve your IRS nightmare. Visit endtaxworry.com.
Go for it. The outcome, it was worth it. I'm okay.
endtaxworry.com.
You trust us for news and information in your car. Now trust us at home. KSL News Radio has you covered, keeping you informed on the latest breaking news, weather, traffic, sports, and more. Listen on your Amazon Echo or Google Home device. Just say, Alexa, open KSL News Radio, or listen on the KSL News Radio Listen app. Text the word app to 57500. KSL News Radio. We have you covered.
Well, if you look outside, we're having a little reprieve, but winter is here, don't worry, and it's coming fast. And a lot of kids here in Utah don't have warm coats and shoes that they need to get through the upcoming cold months.
KSL's Quarters for Christmas has been helping local children for years, turning your donations into warm coats and shoes for kids right here in our own community.
And every dollar you give goes directly toward providing coats and shoes for kids who need them most. It's easy to make a difference. Just go online to kslquarters.com, donate what you can, and know you're helping keep a child warm this winter.
Please join us in spreading a little comfort and a lot of kindness with KSL's Quarters for Christmas.
A stiff chair makes you sit. An X chair lets you float. Upgrade to an X chair, engineered for better posture and focus. The secret? Patented lumbar support that adjusts instantly. SiFloat Infinite Recline that moves effortlessly with you. X chair is next level ergonomic seating that truly floats. Right now, you can save up to 50% with the X Chair holiday sale. Supplies are limited, so visit xchair.com today for up to 50% off. That's xchair.com.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Utah is one of the best places to live, work, and raise a family. But for many Utahns, the dream of owning a home is slipping away. Home prices have risen faster than incomes, and families are spending nearly 2/3 of what they earn just to keep a roof overhead. From young graduates to grandparents, everyone is feeling the squeeze. Utah needs more homes, the right kinds of homes, so families can stay close and our communities can thrive. That's why Utah Workforce Housing Advocacy created Demand More Supply, a statewide effort helping Utahns understand the issue and take action in their own communities. Because when we work together, we can make housing affordable again for today's families and for future generations. Let's make the dream of owning a home a reality again. Learn more and add your voice at demandmoresupply.com. Demandmoresupply.com. That's demandmoresupply.com.
When it comes to your electrical system, do you know the warning signs to look for? What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and it's okay if you don't know, but here are a few things that you might not even realize could be a sign of a bigger problem. Wall plates that are hot to the touch, discoloration around switches or outlets, if you hear crackling or popping or buzzing around switches or outlets, a breaker that trips a lot, switches that feel loose when you operate them, if your lights dim or flicker when a major appliance comes on, if your plugs fall out of the wall easily. You know, you're not supposed to have to bend the prongs out on a plug just to get it to stay in the wall. If you notice any of these things, you should consider having a licensed electrician check your system out. If you don't know anyone, Any Hour Services has put together a radio-only special for any homeowners listening. One of our licensed electricians will perform a comprehensive electrical inspection and give you a full written report for only $29. But you have to mention this ad when you call. To schedule your comprehensive electrical inspection by a licensed electrician for only $29, call Any Hour Services at 801-443-7300. That's 801-443-7300. Any Hour Services.
Christmas time is merry and bright at the Shops at Riverwoods in Provo. Come see Santa, shop, dine, and experience magical Christmas lights at the Shops at Riverwoods in Provo.
The new Inside Sources.
If you were not listening yesterday, a Utah immigration lawyer has indicated that he plans to sue the Department of Homeland Security for libel. Why? This comes after someone tweeted on the department's official account calling a Utah immigrant, Jair Salis, quote, a sodomite and child abuser. Salis was arrested by ICE before his green card interview, and as I recall, he was a soccer coach.
He is, yeah, and he was going into his final green card interview, at least expected to be the final one, and I think it was the end of last week. And instead of having his green card approved, he was arrested.
Yeah, we have Adam Small, KSL Radio, Adam Small joining us. Adam, tell us what happened. Get us up to speed on this.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, Jair was arrested as he was supposed to be going into his green card interview, and that's one of the last hurdles in the process. You usually go in, you're approved, you get sent your green card, but he ends up getting arrested, sent to an Arizona ICE detention facility, which he is still currently at this time. His lawyers are working to get him out. But then we see this tweet that caught us all off guard from the official Department of Homeland Security account, which went on to, in this whole blurb, called Jair, and I quote, a sodomite and a child abuser, and later went on to say, quote, we are not going to give green cards to child predators. And I immediately reached out to his attorney, like, what are they talking about? And we received juvenile court records. Now, it's an important distinction for listeners to know. Juvenile court is not a criminal court. It is those issues are treated as civil matters. It's treated for education. So if teenagers, which they tend to do dumb things sometimes, they can go in, learn, and not repeat that behavior when they become an adult, where you can run into real problems. So when his attorney tells me police made a latent arrest of Jair when he was 18, but allegations against him, he was accused of, as I'm looking at the actual name of the charge, sexual abuse of a child, but it was in juvenile court. So that's not a criminal charge. That's an allegation dealt with by a juvenile judge, which we were told followed the terms that the judge set out. The case was resolved. There was nothing else to do. We have done records checks ourselves. Jair has no adult criminal history.
There's no criminal history at all.
Exactly.
Because the juvenile history isn't. It's interesting because, yeah, I'm looking at what is probably a jail booking sheet. I don't know how we got that, but you wouldn't expect that, except that if a person commits a crime while they're a minor, but then they get charged when they're an adult, they will typically be processed through the adult system. So there would be a jail booking record. But if their case remains in juvenile court, like you said, those are private matters. They're often not available to the public. They're not, a juvenile adjudication is easier to get for the state than a criminal adjudication. And so you would expect that the person doesn't have the same, rights, the same due process rights. That's why juvenile records are typically sealed, because the individual didn't have the same chance to fight the charges if they would have had it been an adult, because of the reasons you stated.
Right, and a very likely reason, one of Jair's attorneys, Adam Craig, told me yesterday, I think, he says, paraphrasing, I think that the Department of Homeland Security and immigration officials got a hold of these, what they appear to have interpreted as charges, but our records check shows that was not the case. It was what appears to be a jail booking document, which we're trying to This was sent to me from the Department of Homeland Security directly. We're trying to obtain a verifiable document ourselves. What we have obtained is the juvenile court records and done our own records check showing he has never been criminally tried for anything as an adult.
Well, I want to ask you about what happened this morning.
Yeah, so as part of this, I got an email from, and I will read the email just so people know I'm not, calling your bluff or anything.
This email is in response to what?
I emailed the Department of Homeland Security at mediainquiry@hq.dhs.gov. That is the email on the official Department of Homeland Security website for media contacts. I sent them an email asking them about this tweet where they are calling Jair a sodomite and a child abuser. I said, do you stand by this tweet? Are you aware that we have done our own criminal records check? He has no criminal record. And I believe to one of the emails I sent, which I believe to the ICE division emails, we found juvenile court records, but those aren't criminal charges. And I got an official statement attributed to DHS Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin, which reads, and I quote, "Because you refuse to do your own research, we can provide you the criminal records. These charges were not filed as a juvenile arrest. DHS stands by arresting a sodomite and a child abuser, and we believe it was completely appropriate to alert the public about one less sicko off America's streets. Get a grip."
I first read that, Adam, and said to myself, there is no way that an
official PR response
official would write that.
Yeah.
And I mean, it appears that it came from the source you indicated. There seems to be the email address that looks like Department of Homeland Security.gov, but I just can't imagine a public official.
Look, nobody hacked DHS to send out a snarky email response. I'll just say that my response was, well, this is pretty par for the course for an administration that talks like this. I mean, you already have the tweet. It already came from their official response. This just sounds to me like the same type of thing. Basically, we don't care what you have to say. You guys are all dumb.
Yeah, and if I can offer just one point of clarity I didn't mention already, the allegations Jair faced in juvenile court, again, not criminal, it's treated as civil. The allegations were based off of what he says and his attorney says was a consensual sexual relationship between he and his girlfriend, who were both under the age of 18 at the time of the allegations. That is why this was handled in juvenile court. This is not some adult going around preying on children. This was based off of what his attorney says is a consensual sexual relationship when he was under 18 and his girlfriend was under 18.
Yeah.
Well, let's bring his attorney in right now. We've got Adam Craig, Utah immigration attorney, on the line. Adam, sorry for holding up so long, but did you see this email that allegedly came from the assistant secretary?
Oh, that's not alleged. That's direct. Let's just call a duck. That's not alleged. That's directly from her, because, Greg, I can send you what her also response was the other night on the tweet. She personally made sure that her name was known.
I mean, I can't believe, Adam, and I believe you, but it's hard for me to imagine a public official writing something so offensive.
Really? Really?
Sorry.
I mean, come on.
You and I both
Let's
been
be
around.
honest.
I'm with you, Adam. I'm with you.
Let's be honest.
You got
me. But okay, if we're talking any other president in the history of our country, I agree with you. Okay? I agree. But when you get people who live in Minnesota right now being labeled as leeches, who are American citizens from Somalia, this isn't surprising. This is par for their course.
So Adam, I have to ask you this. You were already talking about suing the Department of Homeland Security for libel. Does this type of response and the doubling down...
Oh, I cannot wait. I cannot wait to read this email into the record.
Yeah, seriously.
So I was going to ask you if it changes anything. Apparently not.
Well, no, because as Greg knows, this was a booking sheet.
Right.
And the whole process begins with booking sheets. But that's why we have due process. That's why we also have prosecutors, the justice system that goes, oh, man, hold on a minute. We arrested a kid that we shouldn't have arrested. This is a juvenile case. He was immediately released. And they're like, oh, this has got to go into juvenile court because, unfortunately, we shouldn't have arrested him this way. This has got to change. And now everything's going to be sealed. And, we got a little bit of an issue because this was literally in 2015 and 2014 when he was 16.
So how do immigration judges treat juvenile adjudications?
Okay, so here's where I have to give our ICE agents a lot of credit. Because, and this is another thing that's going to make our federal lawsuit amazing. Wow, I may have just gone
If
Trump
you don't
there.
say so.
Anyway.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Here's what's going to happen. Well, Greg, I'm giving you public records. So the records that were submitted to the immigration judge on which is essentially the notice to appear and what is known as an I-213, those two documents allege visa overstay, and then when you look at criminal history, it says negative, 0 criminal history. Because every circuit in our country that has weighed in on this topic, which is the vast majority state, that a juvenile adjudication is not a criminal conviction. It cannot be used because you're right, there is no jury trial available. There is no full exercise of constitutional rights in a juvenile setting. They cannot use it against the individual. So they can't even provide those records in the court, which means we're simply arguing to the judge that we have a visa overstay, which 70% of the people that apply for a green card that marry a citizen are visa overstays, and they all get their green cards.
Adam, I hope you're not in court because we're going to ask if you can stick around for the next segment. Would that be all right, Adam Craig?
Sure, you got it.
I'll pay you.
Sure.
We'll be right back.
All right.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Good morning. It's 10 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Isabella Sosa. KSL's top story this hour, a mineral production company says they have found a batch of rare minerals here in Utah that could help us lower our dependence on China.
Iconic Mineral Technology says this mineral reserve, which they found at a site not far from Utah Lake, could be the most significant critical mineral reserve in the country. The company tells the Wall Street Journal they were digging for one set of minerals when they found more than a dozen others critical to the production of things like cars, fighter jets, and semiconductor chips that power artificial intelligence. Normally, you have to go all the way to China to find these kinds of minerals. The company says this discovery could potentially help us compete with them, and they think there's still a lot more to discover at this site. They'll be processing the minerals at their manufacturing facility in Provo. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Wall Street investors were happy with the Fed's decision to lower interest rates by 0.25 percentage point. But the vote on the rate cut was not unanimous.
This decision was anything but clear for the Fed, and Fed Chair Jerome Powell even acknowledged it was a close call. We saw in the statement that the Fed released, there were 3 officials who actually dissented. In other words, they disagreed with the decision to cut rates. One Fed official said they should cut rates by more. 2 officials said they shouldn't have cut at all. So that just really speaks to the division within the incredibly powerful Federal Reserve.
That's ABC's Elizabeth Schulze reporting. Your money at this moment, the Dow is up 559 points, the S&P 500 is down 17 points, and the NASDAQ is down 223 points. Coming up, an unusually warm day in December. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 10:02.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
What if more reliable didn't mean more expensive? With Xfinity, you can get reliable, fiber-powered Wi-Fi for less. We're talking intelligent gig-speed Wi-Fi for $50 a month. This holiday season through January 4th, Xfinity is offering their best price on gig-speed Wi-Fi. Guaranteed for 5 years. No contracts, no strings attached. You can save $3,000 over Verizon and AT&T. Imagine getting super-fast Wi-Fi at the same price for 5 years. Get everything you need from Xfinity, their best Wi-Fi equipment, even unlimited data, all included, all at their best price. Get ready to be wowed by your Wi-Fi. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account taxes and fees extra. Xfinity Internet powered by fiber and connected to premises by coaxial cable. Actual speeds vary. Savings based on promo and post-promo prices for 1 gig Internet, 1 unlimited line, and Peacock Premium versus Verizon 1 gig Internet and AT&T 1000 Internet with 1 unlimited starter SL line.
Ulta Beauty's big holiday beauty sale is back with up to 50% off must-have gifts. Shop irresistible deals like the Shark Beauty Flex Style and Benefit Cosmetics travel size mascaras. With new offers weekly, same-day pickup or delivery, and our trusted associates, we make holiday shopping effortless. Head into Ulta Beauty today. Ulta Beauty. Gifting happens here.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
Hi, I'm Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, America's largest family law firm. During this time of year, difficult relationships sometimes become impossible. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. Take the first step. Visit CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com.
A 15-year-old girl who chewed through a rope to escape a serial killer.
I used my front teeth to saw on the rope in my mouth.
The killer prowled the Pacific Northwest in the early 70s. He's been convicted of murdering 2 young women, but suspected of many more.
Maybe there's another one in that area.
Follow and binge all episodes of Stolen Voices of Dole Valley, available now wherever you listen.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Let's check traffic in the KSL Traffic Center.
And things are still slow around the point of the mountain. We have this accident at about 152 South. Now, they're down to just one left lane block now, just the HOV lane and the shoulder. So all the other 4 lanes are open. However, because of the volume of cars that are coming around the point of the mountain, as you can imagine, it's slowed things down, and there it's all the way back past Timpanogos Highway in Lehigh area. The good news is, once you're through it, you're clear the rest of the way into downtown Salt Lake City. No other problems at all on any of the other major highways or side streets. They're all looking really good. No other accidents to talk about either. The Good Feet store, supporting you with comfort no matter what the day brings. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. I'm Jason Jones in the KSL Traffic Center.
Today's high is 60 degrees, which is almost breaking the record for the Wasatch Front this time of year. The rest of the week will cool down just a bit to the 50s. Right now, it's 49 and partly cloudy. I'm Isabella Sosa from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
So we do have developing news this morning. KSL News Radio's Adam Small received a shocking email response from the Department of Homeland Security when he asked them if they stood by a tweet that they had taken a headline, altered it, and they were accusing somebody who had overstayed a visa. That was the official thing, accusing him of being a child abuser. Adam, will you just read us the response that you got from the Department of Homeland Security this morning?
Yeah. So, again, from the official email that we are given as media to reach out to the Department of Homeland Security, attributed to Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin, and I quote, "Because you refuse to do your own research, we can provide you the criminal records. These charges were not filed as a juvenile arrest. DHS stands by arresting a sodomite and a child abuser, and we believe it was completely appropriate to alert the public about one less sicko off America's streets. Get a grip."
Let's bring in Utah immigration attorney Adam Craig. Adam, are you still with us?
I'm here. Yep.
Hey, back us up a little bit, because another really offensive thing occurred, I think, a day earlier, involving the Salt Lake Tribune headline. Can you tell us about that?
So the official tweet from the Department of Homeland Security, where they literally redline and replace the Salt Lake Tribune's language with their own language, labeling him a sodomite and an abuser of children. Yeah.
Yeah, someone just did that on their own.
Well, yeah, it's the same. This Trish. Well, Adam has her name, but it's
Trish McLaughlin.
It's the official. Yes, and so we looked her up. She is the official PR director for the Department of Homeland Security. Like, this is her official job.
I mean,
so you have an assistant secretary engaging in this type of what I would define as high school girlish, boyish fighting banter.
Or worse, yeah.
Or worse. Sure.
So, Adam, you were saying, just as we went to break, that yesterday you said you were planning on filing a libel lawsuit, and now we have this response that comes back from this same person. Tell me how that impacts this lawsuit and what that is going to look like.
Well, I mean, number one, she doesn't understand what a criminal record is, which is really helpful for us because this is not a criminal record. It's an allegation. There's been no record established. It's just another example of when you let people who love you run the country, you operate at the pinnacle of inefficiency. So nobody's vetting. Nobody that actually understands the way that the law works is vetting this.
Yeah, I'm looking at this response, Adam, to our office. Because you refuse to do your own research, we can provide you the criminal records. There are no criminal records, correct?
Bingo.
I mean, there are. I mean, I looked. There are no criminal records. And then she goes on to say these charges were not filed as a juvenile arrest. I don't know what she means by that, but
nor do I.
Because it's nonsensical.
Because it doesn't mean anything.
Right.
But
at any rate, on a good day, they've got some jail booking sheet that doesn't amount to anything, and no criminal charges were ever filed in the first place, let alone resolved. It never went criminal.
Right. Correct.
I mean,
and yet what they've done, though, is this young man coaches soccer at a very high competitive level. So can you imagine now what parents are going to say? I mean, because they're going to read, and you have so many people that drink the Kool-Aid that are all going to say, oh, whoa. The lawyers are lying. The media is lying. This guy is this. Without ever getting due process, without ever getting any sort of, don't take it. He got due process, okay? He did. He got exactly what he was supposed to get, which is a non-criminal, non-adjudicative for criminal record resolution. But now, across the world, I mean, we're getting notices from Brazil. We're getting crazy lunatic phone calls, too, accusing us of representing a sodomite.
So right before we went to break, also you were mentioning, Adam, that when he showed up for the green card hearing, that you were mentioning that DHS had said whatever the documentation was, that DHS had said he was not. There were no criminal records found for his case. Was that correct? Did I understand that correctly?
So I just texted Greg. Sorry, Greg.
No, I
got your number. I just texted you. I texted you guys the official documents that have been filed in immigration court. Now, we need to make a distinction here because DHS is an all-encompassing, that's our department, right? So the Department of Homeland Security, which oversees ICE, ERO, so Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and so Enforcement Removal Operations. Those agents prepared the notice to appear in immigration court, which is a civil equivalent of essentially a summons or an information to appear in a court, which is like our criminal. I have that
right here in front of me. Go ahead.
Yep. So then if you read down, it'll tell you in the middle of the page, it'll say charges.
Right.
And it'll say 237A, and I don't remember the exact paren, but you'll look through that, Greg, and it'll say you have been alleged to have overstayed your visa.
Period.
Right. Do you see anywhere on there that they've labeled him a criminal?
No, nothing.
Okay.
Nor that he even has a criminal record. And nothing like that is even mentioned in here. Because it's not. He's not a criminal. He's not a criminal under any definition.
So then, go down for me, scroll down to the next series of documents. You're going to see a next series of documents that's called an I-213, and that's the equivalent of the record. So like the official police report,
like a probable
if you were to
cause
compare.
statement. Yeah, right.
Like a probable cause statement.
Yeah.
Now, on page 2 of 3 on that, you will see at the bottom, it has a specific criminal history notice there, in bold.
Right.
What does it say?
That there is no
Negative.
criminal history. Right. Yes.
Negative.
No, you're right.
Zero criminal history.
Let me ask you a question, Adam. We've only got a minute left, but tell our listeners about Jair. Tell us about him.
He is a good guy. We had 300 letters of support. The kids love this guy. He has dedicated his life to coaching kids in soccer. He loves his wife, loves his kid. The juvenile process worked, Greg. He did what he was supposed to do in juvenile. He saw that this is not a pass. Doesn't want to have happen. There's no criminal history since that time. So the juvenile court accomplished exactly what it was supposed to do, which is stopping recidivism. No recidivism. And it worked for him. He went in, accepted what it was, and he's now a father, a husband, and an amazing soccer coach.
So
he really is.
I know we're almost out of time, and we have reached out to DHS to see if they will respond to the response. But I just wanted to ask really quickly, or just have you remind our listeners what Jair said happened as a teenager.
Yeah, consensual relationship. Unfortunately, they met at the church, and I mean the church that everybody knows about, and they engaged in a little bit of an encounter.
And they were both minors.
And they were both minors.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
all right.
We're out of time, but Adam, thank you so much for joining us and for sticking around for a second segment.
What a story.
Yeah.
We'll be back.
You got it.
Crazy.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
You know, most diets will help you lose a few pounds, but Soda Weight Loss will help you lose years. I lost 37 pounds on the Soda Weight Loss program 3 years ago, and I feel younger than I've felt in decades. And it's not because of how I look, it's because of how I feel.
But you do look younger,
Thank
too.
you.
I let go of 70 pounds in 5 months, and then I looked at the before and after pictures of myself and was like, wow.
It's something when you don't have to carry all of that excess weight around. And I was at a stage in my life where I didn't want to add drugs to my regimen. I wanted to reduce the number of medications I had to take. So the nutritionist at Soda Weight Loss taught me how to have a healthy relationship with food.
And it was so helpful that I could text my nutritionist anytime I wanted to for advice, which helped me learn what I needed to know so that I could keep it off. And right now, this is the perfect time to join, because if you join now, your partner joins for free. It's the perfect gift for both of you.
It's at Soda Weight Loss.
SOTAweightloss.com, because soda is, say it with me, Amanda, state of the art.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541.
Hi, Grandma. Can Nina come over for dinner?
Sure. I've been meaning to ask you, what would happen if someone offered you a drink?
Grandma?
If anyone ever does, I want you to say, no, I have too much respect for my family and I don't want to get in trouble.
I promise, Grandma.
They really do hear you. For tips on what to say, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. That's underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. This message brought to you by SAMHSA and this station.
Hi, this is Doug Wright. The other night with my wife, Dee, we saw Frozen at Hale Center Theater, and it was delightful. I have a little confession. You know the song, Let It Go? My little granddaughters sing that so much that I'm afraid I haven't fully appreciated it until I saw it performed at Hale Center Theater. The artistry of the presentation and the staging brought that song to life for me. I have become a true believer. And the puppetry at Hale Center Theater, when they bring Sven out and when they have Olaf, you are going to love it. And don't forget, they have special presentations of Frozen where you can bring the younger kids. We've already got that booked for our family. It's Frozen on the stage right now at Hale Center Theater. And of course, you've got to make sure you get your tickets for A Christmas Carol. It always sells out. And by the way, Frozen is selling out very, very fast. fast. Go to hct.org and lock down those tickets. Get season tickets for the holidays and so much more. hct.org.
If you're talking, they will hear you.
We all want our kids to grow up safe and healthy, so we show them how. And we tell them with honest conversations that let them know what we expect. Not just one time, but every chance we get. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. Kids not only need to know the dangers and how to avoid them, they need to hear it often from you. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be taken without a prescription and never shared with friends or family. It's dangerous and illegal. So talk with your kids and guide them through the challenges of growing up safe and healthy. Because when you talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
So talk, they hear you. You can do it if you try.
Any Hour Services can help you make sure your furnace keeps you warm this winter. Whether you need a tune-up, a repair, or a second opinion about replacing it, call Any Hour Services or visit anyhourservices.com.
An expanded Inside Sources. Inside Sources.
Let's follow up on the story we've been covering this morning. A 29-year-old soccer coach, Jair Salis, has been working with the Office of Immigration in terms of getting his citizenship, in terms of getting
he's married
his
to an
green
American woman. They have an American-born child.
and he's apparently lived here for some period of time.
Long time.
When he was a juvenile, he had a juvenile adjudication. He's never been charged criminally. He's never been to an adult court, never been had anything on his record. But he does have a juvenile adjudication, which a lot of people do. And so when he goes in for his final interview with immigration, he gets arrested, taken into custody for something that our last guest, Adam Craig, who does immigration law, said never happens. And let me just tell you that immigration courts, judges, prosecutors don't, as a rule, look at juvenile adjudications and say that's a criminal case, because it's not. It's absolutely not. Well, there's a difference between juvenile and criminal for a good reason, and a juvenile adjudication is not what. If you're applying for a job and they say if you've got a criminal record and you had something in juvenile court, you can lawfully say no because you don't have a criminal record.
Right. Well, the other thing he said too, right, is that Jair says he had a consensual sexual relationship when he was a teenager, and his girlfriend was a teenager, and that's what the issue was, right? And now it's all this huge blown up stuff, and it's interesting because we did have a texter say, well, the DHS sent out a response today to our reporter basically saying, do your own research and get a grip. But they say they're going to provide the criminal records. Well, they didn't actually provide criminal records.
Right.
What they provided was a booking sheet, which didn't turn into any kind of criminal record.
And the reason they have a booking sheet, because juvenile matters are typically sealed, they have an adult booking sheet because he was 18 when he was taken into custody for this case,
right?
Even though it occurred when he was 17
or 16, actually, according to his attorney.
He was quite young. You said a consensual relationship, and I just want to clear up something. Under the law, neither party, neither him or the girl he was with, could consent. So they had a relationship that they both felt was consensual, but
fair.
The law recognizes as non-consensual. So let's just assume that he had a juvenile adjudication for doing something he shouldn't have done. If he had been an adult, it could have been a serious crime, but he wasn't.
Right.
And he wasn't prosecuted an adult, and no one seemed to want to even have anything to do with him as an adult because they were both juveniles and doing things they shouldn't have done, and he was the older one by a bit, and so he got charged. That case has been adjudicated and done, and he fulfilled, according to his attorney, all of the terms and conditions of his probation in that juvenile matter.
So we've had a number of texters on this issue over the last couple of segments. We have a question here, and I think I have an answer for this. But this is he's been here for 18 years, right? He came as a kid.
Right.
Why did he wait so long to apply to be legal? Well, I don't think he did. The issue with this process is that it is a multi-year process, right? And it takes a long time. So he had already done interviews. He had done background checks. He was there for his final interview to get this green card issued or reissued, and that is when he was picked up. But, to what Adam Craig said in the last segment, he you'll have to explain it to me, but part of the documentation for showing up at this hearing, DHS themselves said he has no criminal history, none, zero.
That's correct, because juvenile adjudication is not a criminal history. There's a good reason for that. We do that all over the country, and Utah certainly no exception, where we say if you commit a crime when you're under a certain age, we're not going to make that haunt you the rest of your life. Now, we certainly can bring, as we've seen on this very show, 16, 17-year-olds who are charged with serious crimes, homicides, that type of thing, and even charged with serious sex crimes, they can be brought into the adult system. This wasn't one of those cases. This was a case that was adjudicated in the juvenile court. And so what happened was, just to get our listeners up to speed, we reached out to immigration and said, what's up? How can you take this guy into custody and make these allegations? Because, first of all, there was somebody scribbled on an article from the Salt Lake Tribune.
They put it out on X, used to be Twitter, yeah.
It started out with a Utah soccer coach, and somebody scribbled out and said a Utah sodomite, was following the law. Well, that was scratched out and said was abusing children. So, I mean, we had that. Then we reached out to immigration and said, what's going on? What kind of evidence do you have that he is a sodomite and he was abusing children? And we got this response: because you refuse to do your own research, we can provide you the criminal records. These charges were not filed as a juvenile arrest. DHS stands by arresting a sodomite and child abuser, and we believe it was completely appropriate to alert the public about one less sicko off America's streets. Get a grip. That's from the Assistant Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. Like, who trains these people? I mean, even if everything she says is true, which it is absolutely not. You don't talk like that.
This is not a good PR move.
This is not something you want to do. We can provide you the criminal records. And I would just say this. Adam said it. I've said it a couple times before. There are no criminal records. There will never be a criminal record as a result of what happened here, because two kids got together and did something they shouldn't have.
And what they sent was a booking sheet, which is not a criminal record.
Right, and not even evidence of a criminal record. It's just evidence that he had to go get his fingerprints taken at Salt Lake County, or Utah County, Salt Lake County Jail. Sorry.
Look, we have a question from a texter, and I think this is a really good one. And he says both of us, you and I, Greg, have backgrounds in government, but he wants to know, or he or she wants to know, what average people can do to voice opposition to this type of behavior. It's terrible, and I feel powerless, he says.
And I don't know what the answer to that is, but I see more and more people posting on social media sites that they have that this isn't right. More and more people looking and responding to other people's posts and either agreeing or disagreeing. So I think there's something you can do there. I mean, this might be something, if you know who your Congress member is, maybe
reach out to them.
Reach out and say, hey, what's going on here? This should have never happened.
I will say, and that is a really excellent question, and I will say that people, the more people speak up, the more I think attention gets focused in the places where it should be. And so we've had a couple of instances in the state of Utah where we had, if you remember, a violinist was arrested, and we also had, and he was put in a detention facility in a different state. We also had that student from the University of Utah who was pulled over in Colorado.
Yes.
Right? Both of those cases have, I think, largely been resolved because of public outcry. So they've dropped the case completely against the violinist, and I think it's only been the last couple of weeks where finally this U of U nursing student was able to take the ankle monitor off because she's part of a lawsuit against the people in Colorado, and basically because there's so much outcry, they were able to say, okay, we're just going to back away from this case.
And coincidentally, I should indicate that we are learning that today a federal judge has ordered the immediate release of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, saying he was detained illegally.
That the arguments in court were false.
Right. The arguments they made. I mean, ICE has a mandate. The administration had a mandate that they went to the voters with to do something about the immigration problem. The question has become, have we gone too far? Are there rights that are being infringed on that we really shouldn't go with, that we really shouldn't do? And it's I can understand the argument both ways. A lot of people are like, we have too many people in this country illegally. We need to do something about it. And a lot of other people say we have a lot of people in this country illegally who ought to be able to stay if they can prove worthiness. And Jair Salis had gotten to the last stage of proving himself worthy, and then gets hooked up on what DHS is calling a criminal case, which it is absolutely not.
Well, and we've had multiple conversations about immigration, and there's a hearing on Capitol Hill today where legislators told Kristi Noem to just resign. We do have a representative. It's Al Green, who filed articles of impeachment, or at least a movement to talk about impeaching President Trump. I don't know that that's going to go very far, but look, I think the answer is, has this gone too far? Well, I think even the public polling shows that people feel like this is too much, right? We're not supposed to be deporting Marines, and that has happened as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think that these things ebb and flow a little bit. The courts are weighing in now. Congress is probably going to jump in. The administration may change its policy. Who knows? But I think that this is something that is very fluid right now. What's happening with immigrants, what's happening with immigration courts, and what's happening with our administration trying to serve a mission of deporting, 3,000 people a day or
right.
something
And
like that.
Remember, it's supposed to be the worst of the worst. Nobody agrees. Nobody disagrees with that, I don't think. And in this case, I think they're trying to label this person as the worst of the worst. And his attorney said right on our show, I can't wait for that libel lawsuit that we get to file.
Well, it's been quite an eventful morning as it relates to immigration law. Let's shift gears a little bit and talk something about parenting when we come back.
It's 10:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Isabella Sosa. KSL's top story this hour. Legislators acknowledge that there's a lot of tension with Utah courts and judges right now, so they held a forum yesterday to open up conversation. KSL News Radio's Reagan Edelman has details.
The Utah State Bar says it was the first of many of a new dialogue series that they're calling Let's Talk and Let's Listen. The bar hosted Utah Senate President Stuart Adams and Utah House Speaker Mike Schultz and a moderator that led the discussion between the two. A press release says that both expressed clear views on the balance of power between different government branches, and both were passionate about their respective roles. Utah State Bar President Kim Cordova says that this timing is important, as legislature recently passed a resolution that condemns Utah courts and judges over the redistricting dispute, and that the forum emphasizes the importance of open dialogue between civic institutions. Reagan Edelman, KSL News Radio.
Our top national story this hour from ABC News. The Senate is set to vote on multiple bills today to address expiring subsidies for health insurance plans.
In all likelihood, what we're going to see today in the Senate is two bills coming up on the floor and going down in flames within a matter of minutes. And the House, well, things are not looking much better over there. House Republicans gathered up yesterday behind closed doors, but they left with very little consensus on a clear health plan. House Speaker Mike Johnson continues to say that they're angling to put some sort of health care bill on the House floor next week. But what that bill looks like at this point, we really don't know.
That's ABC's Ali Pakorin reporting. Your money at this moment, the Dow is up 640 points, S&P 500 is up 1 point, and the NASDAQ is down 134 points. Coming up, a warm winter day. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 10:31.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
You gave years, maybe decades to your job. You showed up, worked hard, and planned for retirement. But now, the company's changed. Or maybe you've taken a buyout or been forced into early retirement. So, what happens next? I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. And if you've built up a 401k or thrift savings plan, now is the time to ask, is that money really working for you? Many workplace retirement plans offer limited options and even less guidance. At Trajan Wealth, we help people just like you roll over their accounts into IRAs with more flexibility and personalized investment strategies built around your goals. For households with $500,000 or more, let us build you a personalized plan. We operate on veteran values, service, trust, and doing what's right. Your next chapter starts now. Call Trajan today. 801-207-9900. That's 801-207-9900.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. See website for details.
Women go through many changes in their lives. And we believe each milestone matters. That every new candle represents another step in your story. Our healthcare experts support women at every stage of life. because each chapter deserves to be celebrated. Women's Health. Nurture what's next. Find care near you at mountain.commonspirit.org. Common Spirit Health. Human kindness lives here.
Make game day yours with the Utah Mammoth app. Get your tickets, order food and drinks without leaving your seat, track live stats, and stream every game with Mammoth Plus, all in one place. It's the ultimate game day essential, designed for Mammoth fans. Stay connected to your hometown team and never miss a moment. Download the Utah Mammoth app today on iPhone and Android. Turn on push notifications and make every day game day. Tusks up.
Just how good is Pure Talk's current deal for unlimited wireless? Well, you might say it's the deal of your lifetime. Because right now, for just $29.95 a month, Pure Talk is offering unlimited talk, text, and data for life. Not your phone's life, your life. This is Pure Talk's top-tier plan. It comes with a crazy fast 5G network along with a 30-gig hotspot. And at just $29.95 a month, there has never been a better opportunity to lock in a ridiculously low rate for as long as you live. And save thousands and thousands of dollars along the way. This plan is normally $65 a month, but if you switch today, you will save over 50% every single month for the rest of your life. See what I mean? It really is the deal of your lifetime. Dial pound 250, say micro, offer ends 12/14. Some restrictions apply. Details at puretalk.com.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Here's Jason Jones.
And we're still seeing the same trouble around the point of the mountain. We do have this accident. It's on 15200 south. There we go. I know what I'm saying. Anyway, 152nd south, and it is off to the left shoulder, but the HOV lane remains blocked as well. So the delays go all the way back past Timpanogos Highway there in the Lehigh area. It's going to be slower than it should be, but not as bad as it was just about an hour ago. Again, once you're past that, you're going to be clear the rest of the way into downtown Salt Lake City with no trouble at all. Southbound I-15 coming out of Weber and Davis counties, no troubles there, and everything else is looking pretty fantastic, including up into the canyons, no problems right now. Step aboard history, walk through recreations, and see real artifacts, and feel the legacy of Titanic, the exhibition. Open now at the shops at Southtown in Sandy. Tickets at thetitanicexposition.com. thetitanicexhibition.com. I'm Jason Jones in the KSL Traffic Center.
The high for today is 60 with a low of 41 and a 0% chance of rain. Right now, it's partly cloudy and 50 degrees. I'm Isabella Sosa from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
Greg, I don't know if you ever had this issue, but feeling like you weren't doing enough, that you were a bad parent, and I feel it all the time. So I wrote an article in the summer about some numbers that I saw. There was a research survey, and it said parents felt like they were bad parents at least 3 times a week, 156 moments a year. And my response was, that seems low.
I was going to say, I mean, I think of when I was reading this and looking at your article, I thought, every time I see one of my children name show up on my caller ID on my phone and I don't answer it because I'm in court, because I'm doing something
You're on the show.
Oh, wow. I'm a bad parent, right?
No,
You think you should drop anything to talk to your kid because I love talking to them.
Yeah, and the holidays can bring that up too. And in fact, it's interesting because I do a ton during the holidays, but I always feel bad that I'm not doing more.
Yeah, right. You want to be with your kids too, and my kids are all over the country, so I should be all over the country.
And let's do that, and let's do this, and how come I'm not sewing 35 pairs of pajama pants?
156 times a year, that's an understatement for me.
So we actually have with us Dr. Kate Lund. She's a clinical psychologist and author of a book called Step Away, The Keys to Resilient Parenting. I'm really interested in a conversation about how we can be imperfect parents and be okay with it. Thanks for joining us today, Dr. Lund.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
So are we okay feeling guilty when our kids' names show up on the caller ID and we don't answer the phone? I mean, I feel horrible.
Oh, my goodness. Completely understandable, right? But the reality is, as parents, we have a lot of balls in the air at the same time. And we also, in addition to trying to meet the needs of our kids and everybody around us, we want to internalize the idea that we're also doing the best we can. And we need to figure out how to optimize our own sense of well-being within our own unique context.
So I wonder, I know in the business world, people say perfect is the enemy of good, and yet we hold ourselves to such a high standard as parents. But I have to be honest, my adult kids too will sometimes say, well, you didn't do this when I was a kid. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry, I was doing my best.
Right. Yeah. And that happens. That comes up, right? But really and truly doing our best is important, internalizing that idea, and then really trying to model for our kids what it means to be resilient, develop a resilient outlook such that they can optimize within their own unique context and carry that forward throughout the different phases of their life.
Before we get to my generation, because my kids are all adults, let's talk about what my children were dealing with, which are their children, my grandkids, and what resilient parenting looks like for children, raising children at that age, and what a parent can do to give their kids that level of confidence that mom and dad are doing a good job as parents.
Yeah, that's a really great question. And the first thing that we really want to do is we want to connect with our kids on an authentic human level. We want to have at least a little bit of time carved out each day to just be there, experience conversation, let them know that what they're feeling is okay. Let them know that challenge is real. It's okay to fail. It's okay to not succeed the first time out of the gate. And let's talk about how to navigate challenges that come up together, keeping in mind that we as parents don't have all the answers, but we're there for them.
So, Dr. Lund, one of the things when I was raising the bulk of our family is for a while, I thought resilience was something you either had or you didn't have, but it's something you can learn. Is that right?
Absolutely, 100%. And it's true that certain folks are, born a bit more able to bounce through challenge a little bit more easily than others, but absolutely can be learned. And first and foremost, we need to learn to manage our stress response so that we're showing up in a level space or as level as possible each day, not heightened. Because when a challenge arises, we want to be able to ride through that challenge, figure out how to respond as opposed to react. And when we're not in that level space, we're not as able to do that. And we really want to help our kids learn that same thing as early as possible.
That's what I wanted to ask you in terms of teaching your kids. And this may sound like an obvious question, but being a resilient parenting also teaches resilient parenting to the next generation, doesn't it?
100%. As we're showing up resilient as parents, as we're building a resilient lifestyle, optimizing within our own unique context, we're modeling those things for our kids. First and foremost, really important to model how to modulate our stress response, even practice with them. And I teach a really simple technique derived from a physician in Boston back in the 1970s called the relaxation response. Super simple. Come up with a word or a phrase that you find soothing in some way, and you breathe. 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the evening. And you start to build in, integrate what it feels like to be in that level space. Have parents practice on their own and practice with their kids. And that sets a really strong foundation for building resilience across the lifespan.
Is there anything specific to the holiday season? It seems like sometimes we overhype it and people end up disappointed, or we put unnecessary pressures on ourselves. How do you approach, or how do you recommend your clients approach the holidays as from a space of healthy parenting?
Great question. So it's all about managing your expectations, recognizing that you're not going to be able to do it all in terms of for other people, for your kids. So really managing what you're taking on, avoiding comparison. You know, what everybody else is doing isn't necessarily what you have to be doing. And then helping to set those same expectations for your kids through honest discussion. And then finally recognizing that you're doing the best you can. So trying really hard not to be so hard on yourself.
We're speaking with Dr. Kate Lund, clinical psychologist and author of the book Step Away, The Keys to Resilient Parenting. And I need to get to my question now, Dr. Lund. What does, if at all, what resilient parenting look like for those of us that our kids are grown? They don't need us anymore. I sort of need them more than they need me. But what does it look like when your children are adults? Or does it continue, I guess?
Yeah, it really continues in lots of the same ways, despite the fact that your kids are now grown and perhaps have their own kids and are kind of practicing some of the same things that you practiced with them as kids. But really, you want to be managing your stress response, managing your expectations, recognizing that you're not going to be able to be all things to all people all the time, and just doing your best to live within that context and understand what you need to optimize your own sense of well-being, which will then translate to your relationships with your adult kids.
Thank you so much. That was Dr. Kate Lund, clinical psychologist, talking to us about being okay with being an imperfect parent.
Really helpful stuff.
And look, I think we should take calls on this. So let's hear from you. You can call us at 801-575-TALK or text us at 57500. And maybe if you're willing, share a moment where you didn't feel like a good parent, but it ended up making your family stronger by creating a better bond. Call us again, 801-575-TALK or text us at 57500.
You probably know if you need new windows. You hear the wind whistling. There's condensation between the panes. Maybe your heating bill's too high, but you don't want to pull the trigger because it costs a lot of money. I understand. And they understand at Advanced Window Products. After all, they've been creating custom state-of-the-art windows right here in Salt Lake for 39 years. They know what's up. That's why they offer 60-month 0% financing or buy now, pay later. You get the windows this winter for 30 to 40% less because you're buying straight from the factory. They'll build, they'll install your windows, and you don't have to pay for a year or more. At Advanced, they're committed to making your new windows affordable. And if you call now, they'll knock another $2,500 off your quote. State-of-the-art, energy-saving windows built here for Utah's changing climate. And right now, $2,500 off. Call for a quote, 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100, or go to advancedwindows.com.
KSL offers the best daily newsletter in the state. It's the 3 things you need to know. Every weekday, we deliver quality and relevant content to your inbox. No ads, no spam, just the 3 things you need to know to be informed about the world around you. Subscribe today. Visit KSLNewsRadio.com or text the word inbox to 57500. That's inbox to 57500.
Night times are cold. We're in the winter months, and many kids here in Utah don't have the warm coats and sturdy shoes they need to get through the next few months.
However, KSL's Quarters for Christmas has been helping local kids for years, turning your donations into warm coats and shoes for kids right here in this community.
And you need to know every dollar that you give goes directly towards providing those coats and shoes for the kids who need them most. It's really easy to make a difference. Just go online to KSLQuarters.com, donate what you can, and know that you're helping to keep a child warm this winter.
Please join us in spreading a little comfort and a lot of kindness with KSL's Quarters for Christmas.
Hi, this is Derek Overstreet, president of the New Millennium Group and co-host of Stop Working, Start Living with KSL News Radio. Can you imagine what your life would be like if you could retire 3 to 5 years earlier than you thought possible? The things you could do, the loved ones you could spend time with, the memories that you could create. That's what our team at the New Millennium Group does. We'll walk you through the entire process every step of the way. If you'd like to get a copy of the 5-step proprietary plan that will help you retire 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible, give us a shout right now. 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com. Listen, most of our listeners right now have a tax problem, not a money problem. There's not enough money in Social Security, Medicare as it is. Let us show you how you can significantly reduce your taxes. That's 888-999-6370, 888-999-6370, or utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa this weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Mountain America Expo Center. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa this weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Mountain America Expo Center. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Mountain America Expo Center. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. Mountain America Expo Center. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Hot tub starting at $2,999. Mountain America Expo Center. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Mountain America Expo Center. Friday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission, free parking, free delivery. Mountain America Expo Center. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks? Do you feel neglected or unloved? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Wasatch Front businesses and property managers. Don't wait for bad weather to schedule professional snow service with GoPave Utah. Your complete parking lot safety starts with GoPaveUtah.com.
Inside Sources.
So we're talking about parent perfectionism, and I really do want to hear from our listeners. You can call 801-575-TALK. You can text us at 57500, and you can either tell us about maybe a parenting fail or how you are overcoming parent perfectionism during the holidays. But we do have Dr. Kate Lund on the line still with us today. She's a clinical psychologist and author of the book Step Away, The Keys to Resilient Parenting. And Dr. Lund, we have a texter with a question. What does it look like for parents dealing with severe depression and anxiety?
Right. Yeah. And that's a real challenge. And that's something that really, really is needing to be addressed for sure. So first thing is to be getting the professional help, psychiatrist or psychologist, some sort of counseling to help move through those issues. And then really working to understand what you need as a parent, as a person to be optimized within your own unique context. So maybe that means social connection. Maybe that means, exercise, movement. Maybe that means calling a friend once a day or once a week. Maybe it means engaging in a hobby that brings you a sense of joy. Maybe it means going on a walk around the block at lunch. So understanding what you need to be optimized within your own unique context, in addition to the professional help for the clinical issues that you have going on, is really important.
We see so many instances, at least I do in my profession, Dr. Lund, of parents who finally reach a breaking point and take physical action against a child. And what can you tell parents if you're advising them who get close to that breaking point, what resilient parenting looks like? Or I know that's a terrible question, but when is it time to maybe back out or walk away or count to 3, I guess?
Well, absolutely. Such an important question and a really important issue to address. And so it's, again, understanding yourself, understanding where your breaking point, so to speak, is, recognizing when your stress response is heightening to the point where, you could cross that line, and asking for help, knowing when it's time to ask for help, because those are the moments where we absolutely need to get help. We need to get professional help. We need to get guidance, and we need to walk away.
Dr. Lund, we do have another texter with this question and talking about the load and parent perfectionism. She says this: I have 6 kids from their mid-20s down through elementary school. The hardest thing for me is the adult children who come for all of their problems, concerns, and worries, which is wonderful that they want to talk to me, but the emotional load is a lot. And then add to that, still having little kids, I'm just exhausted. Of course, they all deserve my individual attention. but there are a lot of them, and I always feel like there's someone else who needs me too and makes me feel like a bad parent. What can you say to this parent about resilience here?
100%. Really, it's a real experience, right? So the first thing is really trying to internalize that idea that you're doing the best you can, and that it's true. You can't be in all places for all of them at once, but you're doing the best you can. In addition to that, really figuring out how is it possible, what do you need to be optimized within your own unique context to have a robust sense of well-being, which I get really, really hard with all of the things that you have on your plate, all of the variables that you're trying to balance, being there for each of the kids. But it's true, we can also create more time and space for ourselves to connect with our kids by taking that step back, making sure that we're optimizing our own sense of well-being so we can show up more robustly.
Dr. Lund, when you have two parents coming in and talking about parenting and resiliency, how do you talk to them about sharing parental responsibilities?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's really an individual thing. It depends on each of their lives, each of their contexts, the context of the family. Maybe one is a stay-at-home parent or works part-time, will take on a bigger load of certain responsibilities, and the other parent might be more of the breadwinner, so to speak, or vice versa. It's really a question of communicating with each other and coming up with a plan or a strategy in terms of co-parenting, caretaking, managing the family in a way that makes sense for you.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Dr. Lund. We appreciate your expertise. That was Dr. Kate Lund who joined us to talk about resilience, really, and overcoming parent perfectionism.
And you and I are both sitting here counting the times that we were not perfect parents.
I know.
And I can see us both going through these numbers.
A bazillion different ways to not be a perfect parent.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the whole notion of you should call my kid every day or you should talk to your kid every day. And you don't want to torture them either, especially my adult children.
You know, and sometimes, look, I mean, she mentioned this, the game of comparison, right? Comparison is the thief of joy.
Right, yeah. And at this time of year, you know, you've got to you deal with what do I give my children? How do I reach out to them during the holidays? How can I make them happy?
I actually did an article this week and have a whole lot of responses on Facebook about gift giving for adult children and grandchildren, right? And the whole fairness thing. Anyway, that's an interesting conversation, and maybe we can have that tomorrow or next week. But I wanted to say this: looking sometimes at what other families do makes it harder to enjoy what we're able to do. So for example, I don't know where the sewing pajama pants came up. I don't even know if I saw somebody else do that, and it seemed like a good idea when I started it, right? It's like, oh, here's a thing, and you know, pajama pants are particularly easy to sew. It takes like 20 minutes, right, to whip out a single pair. Well, when you multiply it by 3 dozen, I was running myself into the ground, and it's like, okay, I can't keep doing this. And so instead of tapering off and just saying, oh, I'm just doing it for the grandkids, I just stopped cold turkey, and I haven't sewn a pair of pajama pants since then. It's probably been 8 years, maybe.
And with my mom, it was like multiplying it by 10 years. At some point, I don't have any more room in the inn for another pair of pajama pants. Right. I love sleeping in them, but
oh my
you can only wear so many.
So yeah, parent perfectionism, right? It's one of the issues I think that is easy. In fact, I remember, so I've been a mom for almost 40 years, not quite. My oldest is 38 and a half, but I remember reading things at the time. This is way before the internet and social media, but things like Irma Bombeck, do you remember her? Mm-hmm. Right. And so she wrote a book once, and it basically, she said in there, mom guilt comes the minute you find out you're pregnant. You start feeling guilty from the very beginning.
Right, yeah.
Right. Well, what if I didn't do this? What if I didn't eat the right way in my pregnancy? What if I didn't give birth the right way, or didn't feed my baby the right way? Right. So there's all kinds of ways that we can beat up on ourselves. But I really loved Dr. Lund's message of giving ourselves grace and know we're doing the best that we can.
Yeah. And, you know, just in my own profession, I keep going back to this. So many times I see kids come into my office who are involved in the juvenile justice system. And I just think, Mom and Dad, this was easy to avoid. You know, you were asleep at the wheel. You missed signs. You should have done some things. And when we talk about juvenile courts and some of those agencies, there's a way to help kids at a young age so that they don't come back at an older age. And they would teach them, educate them, punish them if they need to, and say, hey, you did the crime, you do the time. And maybe they won't come back in the system, instead of saying, oh, my kid's incapable of doing anything wrong and being blind to that fact. And then they get in trouble again.
Well, and see, I can't answer specifically, but to say, I wonder if they have a lot of guilt too, that maybe they missed some stuff. Maybe they were trying to say, look, you need to spend some time with friends. Okay, you're right. All your friends are spending time with friends, and then the friends weren't very nice. I don't know, right? I just think sometimes I do think there are ways to say parents are responsible, but a lot of times I think it really is just, you do the best you can.
And sometimes parents need a little kick, and that is what happened in Australia this week, where they came in and said, hey, Mom and Dad, your kids don't get access to any social media until they're 16.
And
because parents aren't monitoring that in the way they probably should.
But one of the interesting stories I saw specifically about that ban was it started because a mom said, please do something, I'm desperate.
Right, yeah. Wow, interesting. Well, good time of year to talk about parenting, and you and I are both going to maybe call our kids tonight. Of course, you just go home and you see them. When we come back, we discussed earlier that health insurance credits are seemingly going to lapse by the end of this month. The Senate plans to vote today. Next, we'll check in with what's going on with the vote and bring in an expert on what you can do today if you're panicking about your health insurance premiums.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
11 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Claire Scott, KSL's top story this hour. Today, the man accused of murdering political activist Charlie Kirk is expected to make his first in-person court appearance. Tyler Robinson is accused of shooting Kirk at Utah Valley University 3 months ago. The judge is expected to address a request from Robinson's attorney to ban cameras in the courtroom. Though Kirk's widow, Erica Kirk, tells Fox News she does not want to see that happen.
There's nothing to hide. I know there's not, because I've seen what the case is built on. Let everyone see what true evil is. This is something that could impact a generation and generations to come.
Robinson is facing the death penalty if he's convicted. KSL will have a team at the courthouse in Provo for today's hearing at noon. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Walt Disney is investing $1 billion into OpenAI.
Under the agreement, some of the videos will be chosen to stream on Disney+. Customers will be able to use OpenAI's Sora video platform to create content and draw from more than 200 characters from the Disney, Marvel, Pixar, and Star Wars brands. Disney is the parent company of ABC News.
ABC's Sherry Preston reporting. Your money at this moment, the Dow is up 602 points. The S&P is down 1 point. And coming up, sunny skies and 60. KSL weather's next. KSL News Time, 11:01.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Between all the holiday parties,
weekend tailgates,
and family get-togethers. Oh, they're here. Hey, who needs something to drink?
we've been overindulging a little more than usual. Thank goodness we both added active liver to our diets to give our livers some much-needed support so we have the energy we need to enjoy the holidays.
Active Liver from New Nordic contains a powerful blend of turmeric, milk thistle, and globe artichoke extract designed to give your liver maximum protection and help it do vital jobs like removing toxins from alcohol, rich foods, and sweets.
Try Active Liver today and enjoy all the holiday treats with the peace of mind of knowing you're giving your liver some relief.
Find Active Liver online at Amazon, Vitacost.com, or iHerb.com. Or pick it up today at CVS, Meijer Grocery, or ShopRite. Enjoy life to the fullest with Active Liver.
You know, most diets will help you lose a few pounds, but Soda Weight Loss will help you lose years. I lost 37 pounds on the Soda Weight Loss program 3 years ago, and I feel younger than I've felt in decades. And it's not because of how I look, it's because of how I feel.
But you do look younger,
Thank
too.
you.
I let go of 70 pounds in 5 months, and then I looked at the before and after pictures of myself
and
was like, wow.
It's something when you don't have to carry all of that excess weight around. And I was at a stage in my life where I didn't want to add drugs to my regimen. I wanted to reduce the number of medications I had to take. So the nutritionist at Soda Weight Loss taught me how to have a healthy relationship with food.
And it was so helpful that I could text my nutritionist anytime I wanted to for advice, which helped me learn what I needed to know so that I could keep it off. And right now, this is the perfect time to join, because if you join now, your partner joins for free. It's the perfect gift for both of you.
It's at Soda Weight Loss.
SOTAweightloss.com, because soda is, say it with me, Amanda, state of the art.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code POWER to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Here's Ricky Meese.
We still have the remainder of one of the two accidents northbound I-15 coming around the point of the mountain. This one is in the Bluffdale area. It is out of traffic over to the left shoulder. There's still a little bit of backup that remains, but that is clearing very quickly. And the crash that we had past that, prior to 146 South, that has been cleared. Speeds are really improving coming from Utah County into the Bluffdale Draper area. No matter the weather, your feet can feel fantastic. Find the Good Feet location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
We could see highs reach 60 degrees today in the valley with mostly sunny skies. Temperatures will stay in the mid to upper 50s through the weekend with a bit of haze moving in on Saturday. Right now it is 53 and partly cloudy. I'm Claire Scott from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at KSLNewsRadio.com, we're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
When the government shutdown ended a couple of weeks ago, Holly, some people felt like all we did was really kick the can down the road.
Yep.
And one of those cans, we're back to now. We're down the road and we're dealing with subsidies to the Affordable Care Act. They are set to expire. And by the end of this month, it will affect millions of Americans. And those subsidies were put in place by Congress at the time of the COVID-19 issue, because a lot of people, more people than ever, were having medical problems that they expected
they needed to get their
some
insurance
help with,
on,
and they needed to get
on the market.
But it was also set to sunset at December of this year. Where at that time, Democrats feel like it was a good plan, it was great, let's keep it in place. Republicans are saying it was always meant to be temporary. We can revisit it at a later date, but let it expire like it was supposed to.
Well, now there's dueling bills on the Hill. We talked about that earlier in the show. And right now, to catch us up, we have the Hill's breaking news reporter, Ashley Fields. Hi, Ashley. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Where are we with the vote on this today? I know we have two competing bills.
We do. The bill that was launched by Republican Senator Bill Cassidy and Mike Crapo failed to pass. It needed 60 votes. It unfortunately got 51 in favor and 48 against. Every Democrat voted against it, and one Republican senator sided with them. That bill would have provided $1,500 a year directly to Americans for health care savings accounts. To Americans earning less than 700% of the federal poverty level. Now, that money would not have gone towards premiums, and deductibles for those plans average at around $7,000. We're still waiting on a vote for the Democratic bill.
Okay, and the Democratic bill is essentially that the subsidies remain in place, correct?
Yes, that would extend the subsidies for the next 3 years, giving people an opportunity to either develop a new plan for ACA subsidies or strike them and come up with something new as a whole.
Is there any reason to think that this vote will go any different? I mean, the numbers may be different, but do you think the Democrats have a chance of getting 60?
Well, there's been a lot of pushback from Republicans. This has been something that President Trump said he does not want. President Trump has been in favor of these direct payments that were launched and backed by Cassidy and Crapo. So it looks like it's another standoff where this will be at a standstill.
So then what's next? Are they going to revisit different bills? Is it just going to go to Christmas break and then the subsidies expire? What's going to happen, do you think?
I definitely think we are likely to see another bill, hopefully before the end of the year. As you guys mentioned earlier, healthcare premiums are set to skyrocket. Some healthcare costs have already skyrocketed, and this is something that you're starting to see frustration with inside of the Republican Party as well as the Democratic Party. And so this is something they know Americans need, and so they're going to be hammering out conversations on how to get this solved.
When we were dealing with the government shutdown, Ashley, it seemed that the Republicans, it was either a yes or no on the allowing the subsidies to expire. But now the Republicans have actually proposed kind of a compromise. Were you surprised at that? And do you think that that's a step that maybe both houses can look at as a step toward maybe getting their positions closer together?
Well, as we continue in this Trump administration, I think both parties are recognizing that common ground is needed to advance certain pieces of legislation. But look, I think Republicans are ultimately seeing their constituents have extreme concerns about how they're going to pay for health care costs. So this is something they know needs to be resolved. I know that ACA subsidy expansion could be the path of least resistance, since there's already a plan in place for that. And so I do think that Republicans will lean more into this as we see in the coming weeks.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Ashley. That was Ashley Fields, the Hills breaking news reporter.
Yeah.
We also have with us John Pike. Yeah, he's Utah's insurance commissioner, and I want to ask him about specifically what can happen in the state. Hi, John. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, you're sure welcome. I'm happy to be with you.
So we're hearing it's basically gridlock in D.C. again. No shocker there. But what can people in Utah expect right now? How many people in Utah already are getting their health care coverage off the marketplace, the ACA?
Well, there are roughly 422,000 Utahns who will be affected by this, one way or the other. If that's how many people buy their individual health plans through what's called the federal marketplace, or otherwise known as Obamacare. So that's a lot of people that are going to be affected. All of those will have some reduction to their subsidy or an elimination of their subsidy. Their premium tax credit is really what it is. About 32,000 Utahns stand at risk, and these are the ones that kind of make the most, if you will, and they will lose their subsidy totally because they make more than most that fit under this. But still, they don't necessarily make a lot of money. So that's 422,000 people that will be affected one way or another, and some more than others. Some, especially the more rural folks, are going to feel this just because there's less competition among health plans and providers in those areas. So some people may notice a 50 to 100% increase in their premiums, but some could see actually up to a 700% increase in what they're paying per month.
Wow.
Do you have reason for optimism, John, that the parties will get together and resolve this before it expires, or do you think that this is one of those yes or no issues and either take it or leave it? Because it seemed like it didn't get much traction. We didn't get very far during the shutdown, and the Democratic plan to keep these subsidies in place never got much Republican support.
Yeah, it really didn't. I'd be surprised based on what I'm hearing. I'd be surprised if the enhanced premium tax credits are allowed to continue. I think that and again, there still will be some premium tax credits, but the enhanced ones that especially help those that are 400% of the federal poverty level and above, those will probably go away, and that's my guess. There will still be some, but it will they will decrease. All of them will decrease. Some of them will go away. I think that's what's going to happen, honestly. And not that if they change their tune and they continue them even for 1 year, I think we would rally. All the states would, because this is really, based on state-based regulation, would have to deal with that, and the premiums, everything would change, one way or another. But we would accommodate that. But the days are running out, really, for those that are going to have coverage starting or renewing in January 1st. It's really December 15th when that we sort of lose the ability to make changes for that time. So that's where I think it is. I don't think that they're going to continue them, but there will still be some subsidies. I want to make sure that's clear.
So, John, just a final quick question. What I'm hearing and seeing is that people who are getting their health care coverage that way through ACA, they are openly talking about not being able to carry insurance. Do you have any kind of feel for how many people are making that choice?
We don't know yet. It's still early, but we're estimating that probably there could be as many as 8 to 10% of people that are currently insured, through this individual marketplace could go uninsured.
Yeah. Okay.
They could make that decision. So, that would be unfortunate. I hope what people will do first is that they'll look for coverages, that are just maybe plans that cover less but cost less, right? So I'm hoping that's what people will look to first, is even though that's not great, it's better than nothing, right?
Yeah.
And if they do elect to drop totally, there aren't very many other options. There are what are called short-term health plans, but those people would have to be medically approved, medically underwritten. And so people that have health care conditions wouldn't be able to get that insurance. It's kind of going back in time, in other words,
Thank you so much
and then
for
the final.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish your final thought.
I was going to say the only other thing is they go uninsured, or they go to reach out to they have these things called health sharing ministries.
Right.
Is not insurance, but there are some of those that do share, if you will. You pay into a group and they distribute as best they can, but that is not optimal, not insurance. But still, in full disclosure, that is kind of the last option other than insurance.
All right. Thank you so much. That was John Pike, Utah Insurance Commissioner. And stay with us. When we come back after the break, we'll tell you how Utah is not number one when it comes to taxes.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody. Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/radio for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/radio. See representative for warranty details.
The power of we believes in you. It advocates for you. It completes your circle. It makes sure you have the strongest circle possible. And with Intermountain Health in yours, you'll always have the care you need to live the healthiest life possible. That's the power of we. Intermountain Health.
For nearly 70 years, Les Olson IT has been the trusted name for businesses. From state-of-the-art printers and copiers to managed IT services, we have the solutions you need to stay ahead in today's world. And now Les Olson IT is trusted and licensed in Utah for security systems, for technology that helps you work smarter. Les Olson IT, providing solutions that empower your business.
Les Olson IT.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 30% upfront bonus? Or are they promising you up to 10% growth per year, all for your retirement income? If not, then you need to come to Trajan Wealth. I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. If you have a plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hardworking folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They're not. That's up to $30,000 upfront or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't keep working when you're supposed to be retired, and don't let any financial advisor tell you it's too good to be true. Call Trajan today, 801-207-9900. That's 801-207-9900.
Annuities, non-advisory products. DBA Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions. Additional disclosures at trajanwealth.com.
Getting help with plumbing repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Inside Sources.
Well, we're looking at a report by the Utah Taxpayer Association, which found, unfortunately, Holly, that Utah ranks 17th. You thought we might be.
We're not number one. I told you
highest
that.
taxes and fees. Yeah, most of it is from income and sales tax. To talk more about that, we have Billy Hesterman on the line. We don't have Billy Hesterman online yet. We're waiting for Billy Hesterman to join us online
here. We're a little
here.
discombobulated today.
I know.
Look, so this struck me when I saw it. I got it as a press release from Billy yesterday, and just saying, look, we talk so much about low tax rates in Utah, and the legislature keeps dropping the income tax rate, and yet we come out number 17 highest for taxes and fees. So if you look at them individually by tax type, Utah is 12th highest in the nation for income tax, 14th highest for sales tax, 23rd for motor fuel taxes, and 35th for property taxes. So we do have with us on the line now Billy Hesterman, the president of the Utah Taxpayers Association, to help break this down for us. Thanks for joining us, Billy.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So I was just telling our listeners a little bit about the press release that I got yesterday from you, talking about where we sit in comparison to other states with both taxes and fees. And I wonder if you could talk to us about the fees and how that plays in.
Yeah, fees are really interesting, right? Because it's not something that we think of all the time, but generally it's if I go use the campsite that the city might own or that the state might own, and I paid a fee there, or if I pay a fee to use the landfill, or pay a fee to operate a certain type of machinery at a certain site type of thing, those are the fees that come into play. But they are still revenue for the government, so we like to include those as we examine how much money the state or the locals are making.
Billy, we often look at the legislature as they tell us how well we're doing as a state, financially secure. They seem to try to reduce taxes every year. They go into certain areas and they'll try to knock taxes down. But Utah's still 17th in the nation. So where are we not knocking them, or why are we still so high, I guess is my question.
Well, our highest one is the individual income tax rate. We're 12th in the country as far as a burden on the personal income of our residents. And that's a lot because of just how we've funded our public education system over the years is through the income tax. And that's we have more kids than most states. And so it's created a higher demand and a higher burden on our residents to make sure that we're funding the students adequately and making sure that they have the education we expect them to have. So that's one area why we've creeped up so high. What's interesting is that over the next few years, we're actually projecting to see a decline in students enrolled. And so maybe there's an opportunity to decrease that income tax rate a little bit more to make us more competitive.
So, Billy, my understanding is that if we want government to function, we pay taxes. And there are some states that don't do income tax, some that don't do sales tax. Can you talk to us about the three-pronged stool approach or the three-legged stool approach and why that seems to be a better idea than maybe making it tip one way or the other?
Right. I feel like I should put my hand on my heart right now as you talk about the three-legged stool. That's such an important thing that we discuss at the Capitol all the time, that Utah depends on the three main taxes of income, sales, and property. And when you look at states that have eliminated one of those, whether they don't have a sales tax or they don't have an income tax, it does increase the burden that they have on a property tax. You talk to your family or friends that live in Texas where they don't have the income tax. Ask them how high their property tax bill is right now, and most of them will tell you it's astronomical and that they would take a Utah property tax bill any day of the week. So it's one of those things that government, unfortunately or fortunately, however you want to look at it, needs a certain amount of money to operate and provide the services, and they're going to find a way to get that money. So we think it's a better idea to distribute it amongst the three taxes and depend on it that way instead of putting pressure on one greater than another.
And how well does Utah distribute that, Billy? You indicated that our rate in terms of national comparison is 12th on income tax. Property and sales tax, we must be doing better than that if we're 17th overall.
We are, the sales tax is 14th in the country, so we're a little high on our sales taxes, but typically red states do like the sales tax a little bit more because they do believe that, a consumption tax at least gives your taxpayer the option to see how much they tax themselves. Now, it gets a little funny when we talk about things like food because we all need food. So you can't decide not to buy that. But, maybe you decide you don't need that extra TV or boat or whatever it is you might be buying that would generate more sales tax for the state. And then as far as property tax, we're down there. We're 35th. At one point in time, we were as high as 23rd, but because of our truth in taxation law, we've brought it down so far. And, maybe that is an area that could be looked at, but nobody likes to see their property tax go up. So I think also that's why you see the higher income tax and sales tax rates that we have.
It seems the property tax is a really emotional one. People get really, really wrapped around the axle, right, when you talk about property taxes. But just in the last few minutes that we have, I wonder if you could talk about your vision looking forward to the 2026 legislative session. Are there particular pieces of legislation you're already following that you're pushing? What are you looking forward to in January?
Yeah, there are a number of property tax bills already being looked at in the session by our legislators. They understand the emotion that many Utahns felt last year when they saw their property tax bill go up. Part of that, I would argue, is because we see our property tax bill. You don't see your sales tax bill, and you generally don't see an income tax bill. And so you don't get as mad about it. But I think if you did see how much you paid in sales taxes, you'd get equally mad as you do about your property tax.
And go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, with respect to property tax, Utah property values have been skyrocketing, and so you would expect that a lot of municipalities, even state and local, would say, well, we ought to be able to recoup a little bit of that.
That is probably one argument they're looking at. They also are just looking at, while the costs for us have all gone up, we all know that the grocery bill for all of us is more expensive than it was a few years ago. The same's true for government, that they've also seen increased costs, and that they do have an argument to make that they need additional money to make up for the increased cost to provide services and goods that they do. But we want to make sure they do it in a lean and mean way, and make sure that it's they're doing the necessaries and not necessarily the nice to haves.
So specific legislation, is there something specifically? You said property tax. Is there anything else related, maybe even to municipalities or other taxing entities, which seems like the list is limitless on that one?
I'm sorry, I started talking about it and then I didn't answer your question.
No, it's okay.
So we do know that there's a bill that is looking at providing a relief to residential homeowners by increasing the primary residential exemption from 45%. Right now, all our homes are valued only at 55% of their value. And there are legislators looking at maybe increasing that exemption so that it's a greater value. Maybe only 50% of your home is what you're taxed at. Another one might be capping what entities how high they can raise taxes each year. Senator McKay is looking at saying you can only get 5% more in your budget every single year instead of sometimes we see 20 and 30%. Salt Lake County yesterday we saw a 14% increase. Under his bill, it would be capped at 5%. So those are a couple of things that we're looking at.
We've got less than a minute left, Billy, but you seem to feel that this three-legged stool makes sense and that an idea to get rid of one of the taxes might tip that in a way that's not right. If we say, well, we're going to do away with sales tax on food, for example, or we're not going to have individual income tax in Utah, you seem to think on behalf of the association that having three forms makes them all moderate or fair.
It at least spreads the burden across most taxpayers in the most fair way as we've looked at it, and we'd like to keep it that way in the years to come. Though, there are things to look at to say maybe we should look at food and treat it differently.
Thank you so much for joining us. That was Billy Hesterman. He's the president of the Utah Taxpayers Association. Next, when we come back, we're going to talk about some incredible service being done to help people with leprosy all the way in India. Rising Star Outreach is going to join us next.
11:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Claire Scott, KSL's top story this hour. And it is breaking news. The Senate has failed to pass both the Republican and Democratic health care bills. Both proposals came up with a plan to address rising health care costs. Democrats wanted to pass an extension to Obamacare tax credits set to expire at the end of the year. Republicans want to do away with the credits and instead take the extra money and put it into health savings accounts for those who buy certain plans on the ACA marketplace. Senators voted mostly along party lines, but Democrats did see some Republicans cross the aisle to vote for their measure. The FBI says criminals are using digitally altered photos to extort ransom money for fake kidnappings. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis reports.
Scammers will use publicly available photos, then alter them to look like proof-of-life photos in a kidnapping. The FBI says those photos, or in some cases videos, will be texted to loved ones with an urgent request to send ransom money. The FBI says the people who are at most risk are those who have posted about a missing loved one.
They say to avoid being scammed, you should not take any immediate action. Think if the claim makes sense and establish a code word with family members. Your money at this moment, the Dow is up 605 points. The S&P is up 1 point. And coming up, a high of 60 today. KSL weather is next. KSL News time 11:31.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
You probably know if you need new windows. You hear the wind whistling. There's condensation between the panes. Maybe your heating bill's too high, but you don't want to pull the trigger because it costs a lot of money. I understand. And they understand at Advanced Window Products. After all, they've been creating custom state-of-the-art windows right here in Salt Lake for 39 years. They know what's up. That's why they offer 60-month 0% financing or buy now, pay later. You get the windows this winter for 30 to 40% less because you're buying straight from the factory. They'll build, they'll install your windows, and you don't have to pay for a year or more. At Advanced, they're committed to making your new windows affordable. And if you call now, they'll knock another $2,500 off your quote. State-of-the-art, energy-saving windows built here for Utah's changing climate. And right now, $2,500 off. Call for a quote, 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100, or go to advancedwindows.com.
With Steel, batteries are included. This holiday season, give a gift that's ready to go right out of the box. For everything from cleaning up the yard to cutting up firewood, Steel tools check off the wish list and knock out the to-do list. And right now, buy select battery tool sets and get a free extra battery. Visit SteelUSA.com for holiday deals and gift ideas. Happy holidays from Steel. Offer valid for a limited time only at participating dealers while supplies last.
CVS Health supports people in the moments that matter, from picking up a prescription to connecting care. With nearly 5 million daily interactions and serving 185 million consumers and 1.5 million healthcare professionals, CVS Health holds a trusted place in healthcare. By simplifying care and improving health, we're helping people get the care they need. Learn more at cvshealth.com/Investor Day.
Ebenezer Scrooge, you have yet a chance of escaping my fate.
Ah, humbug.
You still have time to get a Mountain America Rewards credit card and earn 3 times the points on every dollar spent, but only through the stroke of midnight on December 31st.
I suppose I can learn to enjoy the holidays with triple rewards.
Apply today and learn more at macu.com/triple.
Membership required based on eligibility. Loans on approved credit offer can change or be withdrawn at any time. Limited time offer. Business cards not eligible.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Here's Ricky Meese.
2 different crashes on northbound I-15 coming from Utah County into Salt Lake County. Both are near the point of the mountain, either just before or just after, and they're out of traffic on the shoulder. Now we're getting reports of a new accident eastbound on the 21st South Freeway at the on-ramp at 9th West. It's being moved out of traffic also to the shoulder. Odyssey Dance Theater's Christmas Spectacular, starring David Osmond. Fill your heart with the Christmas spirit this year. Visit odysseydance.com for tickets. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
It's going to be warm and sunny the next few days. Highs near 60 degrees today and tomorrow, and linger in the mid-50s through next week. Looks like there are no storms on the horizon. Right now, 54 and partly cloudy. I'm Claire Scott from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com, we're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
So one of the joys of doing this show has been our ability to highlight stories about people being kind, doing kind things here on KSL. That's been powered by One Kind Act a Day, which is a project by the Simnani Family Foundation. People can learn more at powerofkind.org. And today's story, it's really fun and also serious. So I have to tell you that before I went to Ethiopia 21 years ago, I thought leprosy was basically gone in the world, and it is not.
I was surprised at that too. You think, you hear about it in the Bible and think, well, it was an ancient disease that we don't deal with anymore. But it still exists in some countries.
It still does. And there's an organization. It's Rising Star Outreach, and they do work in India specifically with people who have leprosy. And we have Brent Kaywood on the line with us from Rising Star Outreach. And I wanted to talk to you, Brett. Thanks first of all for joining us. I wonder if you could just talk briefly and help us learn more about leprosy as it exists in the world today.
Yeah, thank you. It's great to be here. So leprosy is still a thing, and that's everyone's first question. There are over 200,000 cases reported every year in the world, and those are just the cases that are reported. And we're fortunate to be able to help people as they strive to get better from leprosy, and then also to find and treat cases of leprosy before it becomes a lifelong problem for them.
So what is the current medical, this might be out of your wheelhouse a little bit, but there is medical help available for people that have leprosy in terms of, I don't know that cure is the right word, but in terms of at least helping them through that?
Yeah, that's right. It's available free through the World Health Organization. The tricky thing is getting the diagnosis and getting that diagnosis in a timely manner. And so what leprosy does is it kills your nerves. And so even for people who are cured from leprosy, the damage that's done, those nerves that are dead, they don't come back. And so if you can find and treat the leprosy case in a timely manner, what happens is those nerves they don't get killed, and so they're able to live a normal life.
And how does Rising Star Outreach help communities, for example, in India?
Yeah, so we have kind of a three-pronged approach to this. So we help medically. So we help treat the wounds of people with leprosy. We help find and diagnose new cases. And then we help with a lot of the other things, like as far as mobility, just so people can continue to live a great life in spite of their leprosy diagnosis. We also have schools. So we have over 700 students in K through 12 schools, and then we also get them scholarships to universities. And then we also do community development. So think things like toilets, clean water, community centers, that type of thing.
So this year, we've talked on our show already about giving machines, and for our listeners, if they don't remember, it's those big red. They look like vending machines, but you're not getting out a soda or a bag of chips. You're able to donate to organizations like Rising Star, and so I know that this year that you are able to get donations through the giving machines. Can you talk to our listeners about some of the items that are available for them to donate that will benefit Rising Star Outreach?
Yes, we're super grateful to be in the giving machines this year. So we have things like custom shoes. And so people with leprosy, as mentioned before, a lot of times they can't feel very well. That doesn't mean that they're not doing damage to their feet. If you've ever walked too far, got a new pair of shoes that didn't fit quite right, you got a blister, that blister might have reached the point where it was just unbearably painful and you had to stop and let your foot recuperate. Well, if you can't feel that blister turns into an ulcer, turns into a really deep wound. And so these custom shoes they're made of microcellular rubber, and they're $8 in the giving machines. $8 is enough to do the measurements, make these custom shoes for them, and fit these shoes. And it's really a life-changing pair of shoes for these people for $8. So that's one of the things. Another one that I really like is the mobile medical clinic. We have a van that goes out with a doctor and nurses to help treat these leprosy wounds, and to sponsor the clinic for a full day is $60. There's a couple other items in there as well, but it's all about helping these people with leprosy and making a big difference in their lives for a relatively small cost.
We're speaking with Brett Kaywood with Rising Star Outreach. Brett, can you tell our listeners who may not be familiar with how the giving machine works, and how how they can make their donation specific to what we're talking about here in terms of helping people in these leprosy colonies?
Yeah, so the giving machines, I mean, it's a really wonderful initiative. It's the thing about it is that all of the money goes right to whatever the nonprofit is. So, for example, if someone buys a pair of custom shoes in the giving machines, and we're in 3 of the giving machines. So downtown Salt Lake at the Church History Library, I believe it is, and then at the Miller Ballpark, and then also at Brigham Young University and the Wilkinson Center. If you select custom shoes for $8, that money will be given to us through the church, and then we're able to take that money and put it right into custom shoes. There's no admin fees. There's no fees for the giving machines. That's a really remarkable part about this initiative.
Can I ask you, because I haven't gone to look specifically for Rising Star Outreach, do I look for the shoes or do I look for Rising Star Outreach?
Yeah, either one. So we're in the digital giving machines, for example, I think it kind of switches based on where it is. But at the bottom right, you'll see the logo Rising Star Outreach is the circled hands with the star in the middle.
Okay, so we can do it either way.
Yeah, through the giving machines, also through our website, risingstar.outreach.org.
I wonder, too, if somebody wants to get involved with your organization outside of this giving machine campaign, how can they do that, and what's available to them? Do you take volunteers? Like, what does that look like if they want to get more involved?
Yeah, one of my favorite things is actually going to India. In fact, I just got back the day before Thanksgiving, and being there and being in the leprosy colonies is an experience unlike any I've ever had. And people report that their lives are changed. They're better neighbors, they're better friends, they're better family members from just being with these people with leprosy and learning from them. So we do have trips over to India, and India is just an amazing place, amazing food and customs and culture and people. But to be able to connect with people with leprosy is definitely, for me, the highlight of that. And you can see all that at risingstaroutreach.org.
Thank you very much. That was Brett Kaywood with Rising Star Outreach talking to us about something that I personally hadn't thought about in years, and that is that leprosy still exists. We're looking at pictures on their website of some leprosy colonies. They still exist, but there's a way to help people with that affliction, and that is by giving to Rising Star Outreach and these giving machines. I haven't seen one yet, but it seemes like
we need to take a field trip.
Different organizations that are benefiting from this. We learn about it each day when we talk about the One Kind Act today, and how those are coming about. And this is just another great cause. I mean, there's so many.
Yeah, I told you I asked people what do they do to gift for their adult children, and I had a friend say they do small little things, but they give each family $100 around Thanksgiving, and then when they get together at Christmas, the thing they have to do is tell them how they spent that $100 on someone else or a different organization, right? So if you're going down to these giving machines and you're buying, an $8 pair of shoes for somebody who has leprosy in India, that's the kind of impact I think that just not only does it create great memories, but it really makes a difference in our world.
Yeah, well, that's another great cause, and I hope that we can get people going to these giving machines when they get hooked up. Well, it's been quite a day, and I think we want to end with something. What is the new word of the year? 6-7. I was introduced to that by you, Holly, and now it's part of my colloquy. But 6-7 has been hammered so much this year that the dictionary.com 25 word of the year is 6-7. We're going to talk about that when we come back after this.
Hi, this is Doug Wright. You've heard me talk now for years about the Kinetico soft water system that we have in our home. As we head into the colder weather, if you're dealing with dry and itchy skin, do you notice your skin is cracking, it's uncomfortable, and the lotion doesn't seem to give you the relief you need? Hard water may be a hidden contributor to that pain and discomfort of dry, itchy skin. I've got Monty here from Kinetico Quality Water Systems of Salt Lake, an authorized independent Kinetico dealer and an expert in overcoming challenges with hard water here in Utah.
Yeah, thanks, Doug. When you shower in hard water, the minerals don't rinse away completely, forming a film in your skin, leaving you feeling tight, dry, and constantly itching.
So the hard water minerals are essentially leaving a sticky residue on my body and even in my hair?
Exactly. Kinetico removes the minerals before they touch your skin, leaving you feeling silky, smooth, and comfortable.
Do what I did and stop buying expensive lotions and start treating the source of the problem. Find out how soft your water could be at softwaterutah.com.
More than 50 million Americans suffer from a form of mental illness.
And Utah isn't immune, with nearly 1 in 3 people dealing with anxiety, depression, or another form of mental illness.
But there's hope. We can all take action to keep ourselves and our loved ones safe.
That's why KSL has teamed with the Huntsman Mental Health Foundation to bring you hope and help you thrive.
It's Healthy Mind Matters.
Find out more at healthymindmatters.com.
Well, winter is here, and a lot of kids here in Utah don't have the warm coats and shoes that they need to get them through the cold months ahead. KSL's Quarters for Christmas has been helping local children for years, turning your donations into warm coats and shoes for kids right here in our community.
Every dollar that you give goes directly towards providing those coats and shoes for the kids that need them the most. And it's really easy to make a difference. Just go online, kslquarters.com, donate what you can, and then know that you're helping keep a child warm this winter. And please join us in spreading a little comfort and a lot of kindness with KSL's Quarters for Christmas.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well,
I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa this weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Mountain America Expo Center. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa this weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Mountain America Expo Center. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Mountain America Expo Center. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. Mountain America Expo Center. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Hot tub starting at $2,999. Mountain America Expo Center. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Mountain America Expo Center. Friday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission, free parking, free delivery. Mountain America Expo Center. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
This is Derek Miller speaking on business. Since 1996, ADECO has been connecting people with meaningful work while helping businesses build skilled, flexible teams. Along the way, they've focused on creating opportunities and making a positive impact in the community. Branch Manager Stephen Whitaker joins us with more.
At ADECO, we're proud to be the world's leading workforce solution company. We connect people to meaningful work and help organizations build strong, flexible teams that succeed over the long term. Every day, ADECO provides jobs for more than 600,000 people worldwide. We support a wide range of industries, from manufacturing and logistics to administrative and professional services, offering temporary and permanent placement as well as outsourcing solutions. This gives businesses and job seekers the flexibility they need to thrive. Here in Utah, we're helping employers meet strong demand for skilled manufacturing, warehouse, logistics, and distribution talent, particularly as companies prepare for the busy season. We're committed to matching the right people with the right opportunities, whether it's a seasonal role, long-term position, or a career move. Whether you're a business seeking workforce solutions or a job seeker, our team is here to help. You can reach us at ADECO, ADECCO.com.
ADECO helps Utah's economy by connecting businesses with the skilled talent they need to grow and succeed. By keeping operations running smoothly and supporting local industries, they create opportunities and contribute to a stronger, thriving workforce. I'm Derek Miller with the Salt Lake Chamber, speaking on business.
From a recovery program to a place to lay your head at night, with breakfast, lunch, and dinner served every day. Please help the rescue mission of Salt Lake. Visit rescuesaltlake.org.
Inside Sources. Inside Sources.
6-7 just doesn't want to go away, and it's
does
taken
not.
the world by storm, making it from the schoolyard, and now it is Dictionary.com's word of the year. I don't know how 6-7 is a word.
I know, right?
But it's Dictionary.com's word of the year.
It's so funny. And remember, we've talked about this quite a bit. And we had one texter close to Halloween saying her kids and their friends were going as the numbers 6-7, right? So one on one shirt and one on another. So you said that you learned that from me. I learned it from our 11-year-old. She says it all the time. She says it so much that I just jumped into the whole thing, and I got her a shirt that says 6-7, bruh, and an ornament that has 6-7 as the prominent slang word, but then it also has bussin' and no cap and Riz and all these other things that I have no idea what they mean.
So I hadn't even heard of it.
I know.
Until you mentioned it.
Because
weird. It was sort of weird, and I thought, well, but now I'll hear it. I guess in a sense I probably would have heard it before and not recognized that it meant something. Yeah. Now I do hear it once in a while, and I've even
You made a joke
used
the
it
other day
myself
with Blake Moore. So
right.
so he had made a joke on the house floor. he was doing something. I think he was the speaker pro tem even, and he made a 6'7" joke, and it was specifically for his kids. It was funny. And then you made one when he was on the show with us, and he's like, "Oh yeah."
He picked it right up. So what's up with In-N-Out burgers? They apparently are not too humored by 6'7".
Well, there's a reason for that.
It never stops, don't you think? That
The kids. That was literally kids in and in and out waiting for order number 67 to be called.
Oh,
right?
okay.
So you can hear it. So it just got like, you could hear the guy who was going to call the number. He didn't call 67. He called 67.
So after order number 66 got their menu, everyone's like, here we go.
So they actually have taken that out of their order system.
No.
You go from 66 to 68. There's no more 67. We're 6'7".
So we do have ABC's Jim Ryan with some possible meanings of the word. I can't even imagine what they are.
It doesn't
Some
mean
trace the expression to a 2024 song by rapper Skrilla.
6'7", I just bit right on that.
Others tag it to Charlotte Hornets point guard LaMelo Ball, who happens to be 6'7". A third theory is that it doesn't mean anything, that it's just an inside joke among Gen Alpha. Regardless, the In-N-Out burger chain got so tired of hearing this,
yes, number 67,
that its ordering system now skips from 66 to 68. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
I'm going with door number 3. It doesn't mean anything.
I know.
It doesn't mean anything.
It's just kids do fun stuff, right? And I'm not offended by it. But my daughter is a teacher, and she's so sick of hearing it in junior high that she's told her kids, and she's a coach too, she's told her kids, if I hear that one more time, you're dropping and doing push-ups. So anyway, I do have to say there are a couple of restaurants that instead of banning it, kind of jumped on the bandwagon. Wendy's offered a 67-cent Frosty. It was right around Black Friday. It's done now.
That's fun.
So sorry
Right.
we missed that one. But they had a 6-7 Frosty, and then Pizza Hut did something too. I think wings, 6-7 wings. Yep. So anyway, it's just funny. So some people are like, I'm sick of it, make it go away. And others are like, let's lean into this because this is fun.
My guess is a year from now,
It'll be gone.
Long gone.
Oh yeah, it'll be gone. It'll be gone. In fact, I've had kids of all ages, right? So when my 21-year-old was the same age as Jazzy, so about a decade ago, what was really in at the time was flipping water bottles. It was so weird, right? So you just take a water bottle and you flip it, and you want it to land the right way,
Upright,
right?
yes.
Yeah, I was like, oh, and then there was like fidget spinners. There's all kinds of stuff. I don't know. Kids these days, what do you do?
And next year, we'll be talking about something else today.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I want to tell you about today's fun fact because I think this one's right up your alley. It is International Mountain Day today. So I think that can be, your day, a Greg Skordas day.
Well, the mountains are where I live and play and fall and hurt myself, but mountain biking in the mountains a month ago caused me a little grief. But it is mountain. I mean, that's cool. And Utah, I mean, you can't go anywhere. And I love it when people come to Utah from other states and other places that don't have our mountains because they marvel at the mountains. They marvel at them.
I don't know how to tell directions when I go a place where there's not mountains.
Right.
And so out in the Midwest, it's totally flat. In fact, I have a brother-in-law. He's passed away now, but he didn't like Utah because he felt like the mountains were stifling, like he was like in a bowl, which you are, in fact, in a bowl. But
no.
I'll share the biggest mountain I ever saw was in Nepal. So I love our Rocky Mountains. I think they're big, and I went to Nepal. It's been a decade, more than a decade. And what was so interesting is there was a lot of cloud cover. So I ended up in Pokhara, which is the jumping off point for Everest. I did not see Everest, but I did see one of the gigantic mountains in the back. But it was so cloudy, and you could see these mountains, and they looked like the Rockies. I'm like, okay, that looks good. They're like, no, those are the foothills.
Yeah.
And then when the clouds cleared, there was this giant of a mountain. And I'm like, oh, I see what you're saying. It was so much bigger and so much taller than the Rocky Mountains. It was really, really incredible.
And I remember one year we went to, my wife had a conference in Switzerland, and it was skiing season. So I thought, well, she can go to the conference, I'm going to ski. And we went to the Alps, and they were just, I mean, you don't realize how impressive they are until you're there, but they are just so, I don't know, they're just beautiful and impressive, and monstrous and fun to ski, by the way.
They are. They are. So today, on this day in history, in 1620, does that mean anything to you that year?
Negative.
1620, Mayflower Pilgrims. So this
Oh.
is the day that they came ashore in Plymouth Bay. So they actually anchored in the harbor and they stayed on the ship for a while. But this is the day that they finally jumped off the boat and came to shore.
Can you imagine what that would have been like? I mean, just to get off a boat and you're traveled halfway across the earth. You're at a place you know very little about, and you're walking onto shore and wondering who's here. What am I going to find? I mean, that had to be an incredible time in our world's history.
Yeah. There is something, this is interesting, I think. In 1978, there were millions of dollars stolen from JFK Airport. It was the Lufthansa heist, and that happened on this day in, what did I say, 1978. So
I don't remember that.
You don't remember that?
No,
Well,
Lufthansa.
it was, yeah.
Airline?
So the Lufthansa heist was a robbery. It took place in JFK, and robbers got away with an estimated $5.8 million, which would be about $28 million today. $5 million in cash, $875,000 in jewelry. It was the largest cash robbery committed in the U.S. at the time. And as far as I know, they haven't really solved it.
Ocean's 11, 1978. style.
They did have, this is interesting though, they did have that there were some heist associates who ended up dead. So there were some people that they knew, and they died.
I want just to digress. What happened to the Louvre? Did we get any?
No.
They
So
arrested a couple people, but I don't know if they ever got anything.
They
back.
arrested a few more people from the Louvre heist, and I just heard this week that they actually found that they had a security camera that could see the guys cutting the hole in the window after they did the furniture lift. They've arrested a woman, I think, that was helping. They haven't recovered anything yet.
Wow. Yeah. We are looking right now at the video of the court proceeding in Provo this morning. It looks like Tyler Robinson is in the courtroom. He's dressed like I am today, is sitting next to his counsel. It hasn't started yet, but there's a camera in there. He is just sitting up at the counsel table. The courtroom is full. He's got lawyers on both sides of him. The judge hasn't taken the bench, but will in about a minute or two. And so he's making his first
KSL News Time is 12 o'clock. KSL News Time is 12 o'clock noon, and this is Midday. I'm Maria Chaleos. KSL's top story this hour. It is breaking news. The man accused of murdering